Oh, the weather has turned. The Rutger month is falling. The last Rutger movie is falling off the Rutger tree.
Yeah.
We're losing our Rutger, Murray.
Yeah, but, you know, all good things got to come to an end.
Every one of them.
Every one of them.
Yeah, every good thing.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys only knew what we've been going through.
The hell we've been going through to get you this Rutger
Yeah,
month.
you guys should kiss all our asses because, especially Griff, he's been stressed out so much.
For whatever reason, after 3 perfect weeks, these last 2 weeks.
2 perfect weeks. And then
only 2?
Yeah, because Mel is where it started.
Yes, that's right. And that was completely my fault.
Yeah.
No problems this week. We're getting it. Everything's going to be perfect from here on out. One of my favorite Built to Spill songs. All right. Calm down. Let's get my heart rate back up. Wait, back down. I nearly tripped and killed myself. I poured coffee all over the table today.
Yeah, well, that was for the other episode.
Yeah. So Rutger
Hauer month.
Rutger Hauer month.
They said we couldn't do it, and we almost couldn't do it.
Jesus Christ.
Every obstacle that could happen happened.
I almost choked on a hot dog earlier today.
Is that a euphemism for anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was eating
Was
a
it
hot
grilled?
dog. No, it was awful because it was one that you would prefer.
Well, I just don't want to.
You like that nice soft-boiled hot dog, and it makes no sense to me.
Why would you want to eat a charred briquette of fucking hot dog?
Because the char gives it
more
that
takes
flavor.
off. They said it takes off like every hot dog you eat.
Oh, the carcinogens?
It takes off like a month of your life. It takes 2 months off.
Don't do any of these things. I'm probably okay. I think I could enjoy carcinogenic hot dog once in a while.
All right, enough about hot dog talk. We need to start talking about Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, this isn't a Robert Ginty month. This is a Rutger
There will
Hauer
never
month.
be a Robert Ginty month. I can assure you of that.
If we're planning a dual suicide, you'll get a Robert Ginty month.
Yes, you'll know. You better get a hold of us. You might go, guys, are you okay? Because we're doing Robert Ginty month. It's over. Anyway, Rutger Hauer month. They said it couldn't be done, and it almost couldn't be done. But we still did it. We persevered. 5 guests. 5 movies, 5 excellent guests. Speaking of guests, we have our final guest, our closer, the man who's our most popular first-time guest of all time. Of course, we're talking about our man, Jack Badelaire. Jack, how you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Thank you for having me back. Really appreciate it. Very excited. This is one of my favorite childhood action movies. So, an opportunity to speak about Blind Fury has me just all beklempt with emotion and excitement and verve, and I'm just ready. I'm ready to go. I'm like a sword about to be unsheathed and sliced and diced and cleaned and sheathed again.
Now, did Rutger, as the blind swordsman, did he steal you away from another action star, or were you pretty open to your action star? Like at 16, I was kind of moved on from action, but if at 12-year-old I found this movie, Rutger would have to steal me away from Jean-Claude. Like, did Rutger have to steal you away from anybody?
I've been an Arnold guy since I was a wee lad, and I think Rutger is that sort of, lover that comes out of the shadows, caresses you, gives you a good time, and then disappears, from whence he came again. He's got such a weird filmography of just like goofy movies and terrible movies and great movies. Unfortunately, his career isn't very consistent, but for me, this is like one of those shiny boyhood gems. It's just this perfect action comedy, martial arts, gunplay, designer drugs, chase scenes on the interstate. It's got it all, really.
What was our drug in this movie?
P2P.
It was P2P?
Yeah, it was P2P.
Fuck, we're going into fucking Stone Cold territory?
Yep.
I mean, the mullets fit for sure. They were weak, obviously, and, Stone Cold's mullet was very strong.
Right.
Was he actually called Stone Cold in that movie?
Probably, like Jack Stone.
I can't remember his name. And Bosworth.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name in the movie.
I don't either.
Ice Cold. Frosty McFreeze.
Jonathan Cold. That's actually a Steven Seagal character in a movie we might be doing. Jonathan Gold.
Oh God.
But yeah, like you mentioned that, like Rutger is a legitimately great actor, I think.
He absolutely is.
Yeah.
But then like I've been crowing about it, and we've been crowing about it on the episodes. The little gestures, he's just adding. Like that's not in the script,
right?
And it just you're like, holy shit, that's like amazing.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's just so good. He's been around so many weird movies and everything. He's not surprised by anything, and he doesn't have to just follow like line, direction from the script or anything. He just makes the character his own every time. Like that's what I've seen all five. Well,
you
5
gotta
weeks
believe
now.
when he's doing these like shit movies, like he's just paying the rent. He's just like, I gotta do something to make it interesting for me. So that's what he pulls.
Yeah.
Like, Split Second is a perfect example of that.
Oh my God.
That was full. It was.
Oh yes.
But yeah, this movie, Blind Fury, we're talking about, loosely based on the Blind Swordsman Zatoichi series from Japan. I forget, there's I think 20 fucking Zatoichi movies, a ton of them.
Yeah.
And the guy who played him also played Hanzo the Razor, which is a series we're gonna do.
We have to. Oh man,
check that out.
You got me hyped.
But yeah, so it's the blind swordsman, old trope from Japan. He, for some reason, his senses or every other sense is heightened. He can fight. There's got to be a scene where the lights turn out. All that shit,
Well, Jack was trying to explain it to us earlier in some material that had to be thrown away. But I mean, this trope of a blind swordsman, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic kind of like anime, manga, and of course, yeah, the Zatoichi movies, which kind of predate a lot of that stuff. But it's just such this great idea of he's a warrior who's lost his sight, but everything else around him, he can sense stuff. Something drops from the sky, he catches it in his hands. Like his ability to just like step into a room and he knows where everything is. Because I mean, he's running around dodging gunfire and how he doesn't just plow into a wall, into a corner, knock himself out immediately within the first 10 seconds of any of these action scenes is beyond me. But it works. This movie would be such a bland, boring, by the numbers kind of rescue road trip revenge kind of thing that no one would even remember it existed if it wasn't for the fact that we add this little action twist. He's a blind swordsman going up against guys with mullets and machine guns, and it just works. It's just goofy enough to be able to ride that late 80s action train. So for me, this movie is just doofy perfection. I really enjoyed reuniting with it recently to watch it for doing this episode, and enjoyed every minute.
It's an absolute gem. I really enjoyed it.
It's very tonally odd.
Oh yeah,
because it feels like a kid's movie, like a Goonies almost.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yet at the same time, people are being almost disemboweled by samurai swords.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait, is this for kids? A guy got his hand chopped off. A woman got shot.
Rutger
with a shotgun.
Such a good job of being a disarming figure. When he's wearing his weekend at Bernie's wear.
How you did that. I talked about the guy getting his hand chopped off, and you said disarming character.
Thank you. Hello. So I'm not completely out of it, despite all the trouble we've been going through today. I got my wit and my wisdom with me. But I love him stumbling around the road. It's great shit. And
his blind acting was great.
His work with that gator, some of the best shit I've ever seen in my life. I loved it.
Doggy.
Nice doggy. Yes, exactly.
Let alone the pile of shit. That was even better.
Oh my God, how he avoided it.
He stepped over it.
He stepped over it. It was amazing. He's got such grace, such agility, and I love it. And I definitely have seen these in animes growing up.
Yeah, I think we all are fans of Ninja Scroll. That's what I remember the blind swordsman fight. Jubei fights him.
I'm surprised you remember names from it. I watched it 3 months ago for the first time, and I don't remember.
I haven't seen it in years.
Oh my God,
my favorite.
It's that's a fun one. One of these days we have to do an animated movie. We've never done anything animated.
That's true.
If you do, Ninja Scroll is an excellent candidate.
Yeah.
Or heavy metal, because I mean that's just ridiculous.
I think Joe Corey would like to do heavy metal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. We might have to look into that. Is that like heavy on music too? Or
Yeah, but there's no real heavy metal. There's like one Sabbath song in it, then it's like fucking Sammy Hagar.
Oh, it's a mix. It's not like original.
No, it's a bunch of not hard rock songs. I'd say there's Cheap Trick in it. You know, it's like I don't think of them as being heavy metal, but you know, yeah.
This is how we get sidetracked into 35-minute Star Trek conversations.
What's your opinion on lambskin condoms, Jack? Yay or nay?
I mean, when push comes to shove, a little protection is better than no protection. But it wouldn't.
Well, according to Joe, it has no protection. It's they tell you on the thing, why are you using this?
It might be worse because you get the false sense of security.
What is I'm sorry to go from bring this to the next episode, but what's the appeal? Like, I wanted to know what it feels like to fuck a sheep or something. Like, because it doesn't work.
It doesn't make any sense.
Enough about that. Getting back to blind.
So that wasn't a real question. That was you.
That was rhetorical.
That was rhetorical
because it's nonsense. Let's put a lambskin condom.
That's a rhetorical question. Murray rhetoric question.
Yeah.
A rhetorical.
Blind Fury.
Blind Fury. Wait, this is the movie we're doing?
Yes.
So we were doing heavy metal.
No, I haven't seen that in a while. I need to refresh myself. Blind Fury. And I want to say, as a golan-globus, we are golan-globus experts. Not really, but we are. There's a heartbreaking scene at the end that we're going to get to. It was rough for me to watch this.
Was it?
It's like watching a giant fall.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like the end.
Interesting.
And we'll get into that when we get toward the end. But yeah.
Will we make it to the end?
We will make it to the end.
I hope
we have
persevere.
Pages of notes, and we're going to get through this. Together, we're going to get through this, guys.
Yeah. So we actually took a dip last week. I think we finished 20 minutes earlier, but every episode until then was going up, up, up.
Yeah, we're gonna break the 3 hour.
We're gonna get the
we're
3.
Do it.
Jack, hold on tight. I hope you got fresh liquor by you or whatever you need.
No. You don't want a downer. You want to do some coke. You got some cocaine? Do that.
Maybe like rim your glass.
6 espressos at once and just pound them. Shotgun
us.
Yeah, I've been having to sip coffee off my table.
Spill it,
yeah.
like Griff did earlier. Let's go. I'm gonna fuck this. We're gonna go right to the goddamn trailer because we need to get balls deep into this Blind Fury. So here it goes. I don't even have a joke. Here's the trailer for Blind Fury.
You have jokes on this show?
Some people say. Yeah. Here's the trailer for Blind Fury.
Nick Parker is quick as a snake, strong as a bow, not to mention blind as a bat.
Nice doggy. What's your problem? You blind? Yeah. Holy shit.
He came for a friendly visit.
Step aside, blind man.
But his timing was a little off. Now, a young boy wants his guidance.
Did you ever cry?
A strong man is never afraid to cry. They've got him, don't they? Where's my son? He's here. He's fine.
And the boy's father needs his help.
Now, if you want to keep him that way... Unreasonable men make life so difficult. Shoot! The blind Zorro. If you can't handle it, get me somebody that can. Get me Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee is dead.
Then get his brother.
Rutger Hauer.
I also do circumcision.
Blind Fury.
I know you enjoy that trailer. It was a perfect trailer.
Perfect
trailer. Even a blind man could see it was a perfect trailer.
I like that.
Thank you.
All right, Griff. Like every great 80s action hero, he's a Vietnam vet. So
Red Brown.
We're in the shit.
Like Red Brown.
We're born on the Barn on Bayou's playing in the background because it's got to play in the background. You got to have some Credence playing in the background to let you know it's Nam.
How did they end up being the voice of or the song of Nam? Because you're right. Every time I see a Nam flashback, it's Credence.
No idea.
And I've never associated them with violence until I started watching these movies.
I don't know.
That's very interesting.
But they're deep in the shit, Griff. There's fucking fire, gunfire. Rutger's wearing this horrible short-haired wig.
You didn't like it?
It was very Halloween USA.
I hate these scenes where it's like the light's bad in them. I can't focus on them.
We meet our hero Nick Parker. A lot of Nicks. He was Nick in Wanted Dead or Alive as well. That must be his favorite name. Nick.
Like Steven Seagal's always Nico.
Is he always Nico?
I don't think so.
And he's crawling in the filth. He's covered in blood. He's fucked up. I think his whole platoon is like wiped out, isn't it?
Oh, of course. It's like he's the last man standing. He's just trying to get out of the shit. Of course, he's got like his one best friend who's still there, but does he take off on him?
Yeah, he bitches out on him.
Yeah, he's like, well, you look like you're doing okay, so
you're
I'm
a
just
piece
going
of
to leave you.
shit.
I'm going to leave you here.
And fortunately, there's some very primitive Vietnamese people. You know, they're straight out of the Stone Age. They like find him.
Okay, so like he passes out on the ground.
Yeah,
that's how we fade into the. I don't remember the jungle scene all that well.
There wasn't much to it. It was just a firefight.
Yeah,
everyone's wiped out. He's blind. I think he even says, "I can't see. I can't see."
Yeah, I just remember the image of his face covered in blood. And like flashes, and then we fade into black. That's all. That sound about right?
Yeah, sure. And he gets rescued by these like primitive Vietnamese people. I don't know if these people really exist. I don't know if they were just made up. You know, you would think it'd be a little.
I think there might supposed to be like Montagnards or one of those other relatively friendly tribes.
Okay.
But the Green Berets actually worked with them a lot back in Vietnam. Used them as guides and scouts. Yeah.
Well, they've mastered the art of katana making, though, which is pretty impressive.
Clearly.
Like especially with the tools and everything they have available to them, it's incredible what they do.
Yes, incredible. Master blacksmiths.
I mean, when you got nothing else to do, like that's their Twitter is they just hammer out a sword, right?
Exactly. So we see a close up of our man Nick's face. He's got aloe vera fronds like glued to his face.
Oh yeah,
we know the healing power of the aloe vera.
This is very much a Rorschach test because Murray sees aloe vera.
Well, it's the most healing of all plants.
Of course, I see green onion. I think these people,
but that would hurt your eyes. Onions?
Yeah, probably.
Is that why he can't cry?
That's why he can't cry. Oh,
the onions burn it right out.
Burned his fucking tear ducts.
That was what I just love this little headdress. I want to fashion one of those and see if anybody gets it.
Well, because as we've learned, if you got to train, you train in nature. Also, medical nature. That's the best thing for healing eyes.
100%.
Put some aloe vera on there.
Well, it's just like us being so close to up north. You always hear people just be like, the city life's getting to me. Suburban life. Yeah, it's really getting to you. The Chili's fucked up your order and you're really messed up. I got to go up north and be one with nature.
They didn't have my chicken nuggets at Costco, so I'm fucking pissed.
This is a perfect description of suburban life.
Love it. So yeah, these people, like, because they're beautiful people. They don't care that this guy and all his fellow white men have been destroying.
He may be blind,
environment with napalm,
but they don't see color. They just accept.
They're
him.
colorblind. He's really blind.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
So
we're very tired.
We're coming in hot tonight.
Oh, very hot. Like a spicy green onion on your eyeball.
So,
or hot sauce on your burrito.
Oh,
what was the fruit that they were cutting?
That wasn't actually, technically it is a
It's
fruit.
A melon?
It was a squash. It's like a pumpkin.
Okay. So we see they're feeding him we see how they prepare the meal with a katana.
Of course.
Which, by the way, we all know is Japanese for sword. and he slices it, like quarters it with like one swipe.
Yeah.
That's how amazing the swordman is. Of course, he's like Yoda. He's this little tiny guy. You're like, that guy couldn't be a swordsman.
I like how you said that because it does remind me of that game that Luke plays to train with the lightsaber, where the thing floats around and he tries to block all the blows. I do like that he is just blinded, and they throw a gourd by his face, and he doesn't know what's happening. And everybody in town is watching. They all just laugh at him.
Well, don't they put a snake in his face?
They do that too.
Because they're the
it's really early on. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that? I mean, okay, so maybe they see a little bit of color because they want to get one over on the white man, but or the guy Shen.
As you pointed out, if you like the fact this is a very tight, like 5-minute, like how he learns all his skills. We don't waste time like a half. Now a movie be a half an hour.
Yeah, we already know how we feel about backstory. Jack, how you feel about a 5-minute backstory?
Less gabbing, more stabbing. That's how I feel about it. Like, let's just get to the point.
Exactly.
The sword point.
Yeah, thank you. You're just getting right in here on this slapstick sword point, beautiful to the detail.
Is there? Why does he need to learn to use a sword? I don't know what was the impetus for him learning.
You don't want to hand a blind man an M16. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to. You have to limit the reach of the accidental carnage, to the end of a sword blade.
Right.
But I do like, I have to say, the scene where the little sword master guy has him sort of wrap his body around him and kind of learn the movements. I just thought
Ghost.
That it's just kind of really well done. Like, how would you teach a guy who can't watch you demonstrate how to do these like sword maneuvers? Well, you have him literally kind of like touch your whole body and just feel your limbs and the muscles in your arms and how they're moving and the joint. So for a goofy movie filled with 44 magnums and mullets and shotguns and cigars and sword fights, like, this is just one of those little cool details that someone had to sit down and think, like, how would we train a blind man to fight with a sword? And they come up with an idea that you're like, okay, that actually, I like it. This isn't completely ridiculous. So it's just one of these little gem moments in this movie that I just adore.
Are 100% on the same page. I thought that was fucking beautiful.
It also took him 20 years, so it makes sense because we don't know how long he stays in Vietnam. We just know that 20 years later he winds up in Miami.
Well, we feel it was 20 years. That was the gap.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can accept that. It took him that long to train and everything.
I would be amazed that even a blind man in 20 years could learn to do what he does because he becomes Daredevil in this movie. His senses are so heightened.
Yeah.
I was like, was there some like radioactive napalm that got
Daredevil spending half his time learning the law, reading Braille and everything. Rutger's spending all of his time learning the blade. All right. He's probably cutting everybody's hair.
He needs to cut his hair. He
and circumcision.
His hair gets longer and he gets a beard. And I was touching his ear. I didn't like that.
I know.
But Rutger, was he ever in a Viking movie? Because he had a fucking gnarly ass Viking look going on with that fucking beard.
Well, has he ever been? Maybe a really bad one. But I mean, there's Flesh and Blood where he's a Landsknecht mercenary, so that's European, and
he should have had a beard.
Well, and then there's Lady Hawk, where he's Navarre, he's like a French knight. So this is not his first rodeo when it comes to sword play in terms of his career, because I think both of those came before this movie. So this is at least the third movie in which he's been a sword swinging protagonist.
Would you say this is his best for the sword technique?
I think it's just different. Like when you're doing the sort of like katana style sword play. Well, I mean, I have issues with the whole reversed sword technique. It drives me nuts. If we ever do a discussion of The Hunted, there's a lot of reversed sword technique in it, which is just so stupid looking. It does nothing for you. The only way it works is because you're holding that cane like a walking stick and you can draw it straight up and out, without reversing your hand to draw it like you would with a normal sword. But that's like the only advantage it gives you is like that one instant where you pull it out and no one realized that it was a sword to begin with. Beyond that, it's terrible. You don't get reach, you don't get speed, you don't get control, you don't get strength. Like you make yourself a weaker sword fighter in every possible way. And the fact that he just keeps using that move over and over, it's like he hits a guy and you're like, you know what, that guy's wearing like a trench coat and like some other heavy clothing. That sword is probably not even going to get through it because you're basically just kind of wiping the blade across him. You're not putting any for energy behind it. But it doesn't matter because it just looks so good. It looks so cool. He's leaping around. He's dynamic. He's slicing off hands and arms.
Would you say it's the sword equivalent of the John Woo shooting the gun sideways move?
Yeah, it is. It looks cool, but like it gives you absolutely no advantage whatsoever. I even, before we decided to do this episode, or when we knew we were going to do it but didn't have time, I went online and I started digging around to find any information on like actual kenjutsu or kendo or techniques that would use this, and the only place where it ever comes up is just sort of a surprise draw, like it's one cut, and like beyond that you would never kind of fight like that because it just gives you no advantage whatsoever that having the sword in like a normal grip was. The katana is built to be used in like a really specific way because it has one edge. The point is sort of a, done in a very specific style, and like, you wield it in a very particular manner. And turning it upside down and wielding 180 degrees the wrong way like, does you no favors whatsoever. So I'm getting that out of the way. I'll shut up now. But like, it looks cool on the screen. It's like leaping around, slashing people's arms off and chopping them in the face and the groin and all that. But like, it's goofy. It's goofy.
I mean, that's how Rurouni Kenshin did it.
Who?
It's an anime.
Oh.
Jack gets it.
So we see his progression because each time we see him cut a little bit more of that squash.
Yeah, he cuts it. He cuts just a little bit of it off, just the nub of it, and then he cuts like it in half. And finally, I love the fact that the most beautiful thing about him having to train while draping over the man, he's literally draping over him. Because Rutger's 6'9". We all know this. He's a giant of a man. And this is like a little,
He's 3'8".
He's 3'8". So he's completely, his knees are touching the ground and he's just kind of trying to do the motions with them. It's beautiful. And like that last scene when like the training is done, he like pulls his arm, like moves his arm to like caress the guy's head and pull him into his face and hug him. And I love Rutger.
That was a Rutgerism.
I love Rutger because it's
called
like
an audible with that.
It's like the human connection that Rutger always goes for. He did it in The Hitcher with the little girl. Like he always goes in and brings people to him, and I love that about Rutger. He's not a like, no, I'll call you.
He's very Joe Biden about it. He's like, touch.
Okay, let's not go full Joe Biden here. Let's not go full Biden.
So finally, he quarters it. So now we know he's learned all you can about swords.
Yeah,
he's a master.
Everybody in the town clapping their ass off.
They even give him the one town's sword. They give it to him.
The most perfect sword too.
Yeah, because it's hidden in a cane. A blind man's cane.
And you know what? We've just spent, let's see, 30 minutes in the top half to get through one paragraph of the story.
I told you. Put on your catheters, everybody.
Oh, boy. If you didn't already have them on.
20 years later, we're in Florida.
I don't know. Is this you? I think you've said it. Is this a Zargatha situation? Did he hop out of a truck? Did he just somehow?
No, he just. I don't know. Maybe they pushed. They saw a white man, said pushed him toward him. I don't know. And then he was like, "Hey, fellow white man, let me take you back to the States." Well, I think he could leave anytime he wanted, but he wanted.
Oh no, I wasn't saying they were keeping them there, but you say they went to like the town square, and a white guy saw him, was like, "Hey, you should be in Florida. What are you doing here?"
the logistics of it aren't important. All that we need to know is that somehow he's made it around the globe. And also, like, where does he get the Walkman?
You know what it is? Rambo got him out, dude.
There we go.
Ooh.
Rambo.
It's Rambo 2.5. They fit it in somewhere.
So while we know he's in Florida, he's got the awful, very 90s fucking baggy pants with a fitted waist. He's got the fucking baggy trench coat on.
He is blind.
He looks like Connor McLeod. Like,
Yes.
a terrible fashion. Oh,
All right.
He's got the Chuck Taylors on.
Look, we got to go through a little sidebar. Who's winning that fight? Connor McLeod.
Well, Connor can see, and he's immortal, so I'm going with
We've
Connor
seen
McLeod.
him. Look, we watch him fight Sho Kazugi later on. So we
Right.
know he's got fucking style, and he's got the great defensive and offensive
I
skills.
never saw Rutger behead anybody in this movie, so that's the only way he's going to beat Connor.
Right.
So I'm giving it to Connor.
You're giving it to Connor.
Yeah,
Connor.
I know this is Rutger Hauer month, but Connor's immortal, and he's been fighting for hundreds of years. 20 versus hundreds.
yeah. I'd have to agree because all Connor McLeod is going to do is let Nick stab him, and Nick's just be like, haha, and then Connor McLeod will kill him.
Yeah.
He'll just
You
trap the blade in his own body, and then, boom, it's done. That's how he handle it.
I guess I kind of imagine it of a game recognizing game situation where Connor wouldn't pull a trick like that. Because I gotta say, I'm not impressed by Connor's sword skills at all.
They're absolutely awful.
Thank you.
He
I
fights like
love-
a man who's immortal, though.
I love
Yeah.
the Highlander movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, sidebar over.
So we get a nice shot of some dog shit. He walks over it. We know that he's got special powers. He's Daredevil.
Daredevil, yes.
Because he
Because
thinks the alligator's a dog, you know.
right.
Yeah. It's very cute. Again, playing into that kind of wholesome comedy of this movie.
Right, exactly.
Nice
Yeah.
doggy.
So he walks by a bar. He smells it. He smells the fresh burrito scents coming off it. and
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
I need a burrito.
I went straight back to The Hitcher because what was the theme of that movie? Walk 5 minutes, you'll find a gas station with some kind of
Right, but
restaurant
these
attached.
actually work. These aren't like abandoned ones.
They aren't because this isn't the Twilight Zone town that was The Hitcher's world. This is real world.
So there's some local toughs that are harassing people and they're fucking with people. And as you do when you see someone who's vulnerable, who's blind, you got to harass him.
You have
You have to fuck with him.
Yeah.
So Rutger, Nick, he sits down at the bar, orders himself a burrito,
Yep.
and the guy's like, hey, you want some sauce with it?
Let me help you out, friend. I see that burrito. It's a little bland. Let me get you the hot sauce. What are you, a hot or are you a mild man? And Rutger's played it. He's just like, oh, my heart can't stand that heat. I gotta have the
He's
mild.
been eating that spicy Vietnamese food for 20 years.
I didn't even think about that. He's probably so much heat. I didn't even get. Oh my god, the level of genius happening
Get
here.
your fucking Tex-Mex shit out of here. That ain't nothing.
No, this is floor Mex,
I'm just
as in
saying.
it's Mexican food off a floor because it's not Tex-Mex.
You think it'd be Cuban because they're in Florida.
Oh yeah,
but-
yeah, really. They're in the Panhandle.
Are they? I thought they were in Miami.
I don't know.
They're in Miami.
They're in Miami.
That's far.
Shit.
Of course, they're in Miami. That's the drug capital of the world.
Oh, that's a
so-
good point.
So yeah, so he's like, "Let me help you out there." And of course, we know you see a blind man, you got to fuck with him. So
You gotta fuck with him.
throw that hot as shit atomic.
The
fireball.
bottle had like a devil on it.
right. So you know, it's hot.
Pours it onto that
shit.
burrito too. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
That sad burrito. That was just like a folded tortilla. It's like a tiny sprinkling of filling. Like I had a burrito before I got on here, a delicious chicken burrito, and it was fantastic in all possible ways. And then I
How
saw
about the
that
sauce?
moment.
You have the hot or the mild?
Oh yeah, no, I applied the hot sauce. So
All right.
I'm fiery and fueled and raring to go. And it felt like it was an appropriate dinner tribute to this movie.
Are we talking
just feel-
Valencia hot sauce? What kind of hot sauce we talking here?
It's like,
Okay, I'm embarrassing myself here. It's Frank's Red Hot. It's my favorite hot sauce. Like I will eat the hot sauces, like some real hot sauces, but when it comes to just everyday dining, I just want a little bit of Frank's or Cholula, or I'm not a Tabasco guy. Like that just doesn't do it for me. But
So
I just
carry a bottle of Frank's with you just to make sure.
What is he, Hillary Clinton carrying his hot sauce with him?
I've known.
I keep a bottle at work. I know that on the internet somewhere you can buy hot sauce bottle holsters for your belt.
Jesus, no!
It's apparently a thing. Yes, you can do that.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Well, this goon, he just unloads with fucking Satan's fiery anus fucking hot sauce all over that burrito.
Oh my God!
Says, bon appetit.
Bon apple tea.
Apple tea. And he bites right into that pathetic burrito, like Jack said.
Yeah.
And he goes.
He starts making some very awful noises and everything, but then he just calms himself. Serenity now. And he just chews it up. And he turns over to the direction he thinks the guy's in. He's like, it's not bad. I think I need a little. Wait, no, that's what he busts out the line. But oh my God, that line is so good. He no-sells it. He watched that Dark Side of Wrestling, Dark Side of the Ring episode.
He's no-selling everything, even his blindness. He knows he could kill these guys at any moment.
Well,
but he's like acting like he's just got blind, like he's looking like at the opposite direction the guy's talking.
You're right, Rutger.
He's playing dumb blind.
He killed it as a blind guy. Yeah. He is playing very goofy. You're right.
And he's like, how about something more macho?
Ooh. Love it.
And I guess they just shuts him down, because then they immediately make a beeline for this poor woman and start harassing her.
Well, he's tougher than the average hombre. So they're just like, look, there's this attractive young lady who just came in with a very pink Coach purse. So let's just harass her.
And they're like, this is,
you got to engage that toxic masculinity right there. You've triggered them, and like they've got to act out. They have to display their plumage,
It's exactly it.
Act out they do. They start playing monkey in the middle with the fucking purse, and then they just throw it to like emasculate Rutger. They throw it at him, and he picks it up and is like,
he kind of like senses it, and then he uses his cane to kind of like scoop it up, or staff, whatever you want to call it, walking stick. We know it's a sword, everybody. And he picks up the purse, and he's like feeling it. And he's like, "Did somebody lose their purse?" And did he embarrass the goon by being like,
insinuated that's a goon's purse?
Yeah,
of course, that the fiery Latin people, they ready to fight.
And I love this because he's been playing Mr. Magoo, and so they're just like, "We're gonna fucking cut the shit out of Magoo here," but he's fallen into the trap, the Rutger trap, and it's so good.
Right, and I like you said, Mr. Magoo, because Mr. Magoo kicks their ass. Like, he's still playing like a doofus kind of blind guy.
Like every blow he lands is accidental.
Right. Like,
I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like drops the banana peel and they slip on it. Oh, my bad. Didn't mean to do that. Hot sauce in the eyes. Oh, sorry. Did you need the mild? It's good shit.
So he takes the goons out, and then he walks off into the sunset. Now we cut to Reno, where all the high rollers go.
Yeah.
To die, because it's a horrible shithole. And we see a guy being...
Have you even been to Reno?
I went there to shoot him and just watch him die in Reno.
You beat me to it. That was going to be my line, Reno really needs to lean into that.
Sucks.
They need to lean into that branding and just be like, come here, shoot a man, watch him die, go to jail.
That's the Reno experience.
Not if it's a cop that you shoot.
I hear
it should be, instead of Westworld, it should be Reno World, where you can, travel there and dress up and just shoot people for fun. But it's okay because they're robots.
I'm going with you. I would like that more than Westworld.
This is where we meet Frank Devereaux, who is the friend of Rutger, Nick. And he's a degenerate. Not only is he a coward that runs away from battle and leaves his friends to be blinded, he's also a degenerate gambler. And he owes this casino a shit ton of money. So what they do...
And he ran out of his family.
Yes. So what do? You hang him over the roof of your skyrise.
Yeah.
And we see we get a glimpse of Randall Tex Cobb, classic 80s goon.
It's looking good.
Playing a guy named Slag.
Perfect villain name. I love it.
And they're just like, where's our money? And he's like, "I'll get you your money. Don't worry about it." And like, you're gonna design us some drugs,
Yeah.
because somehow he's this brilliant chemist now. Like he in Nam, he was all about making bombs. That was his thing. But now, now he can make any kind of designer drug you want.
Well,
he's the Walter White of the '80s, played by Terry O'Quinn, known as, I guess he's probably most famous as Locke on Lost. And
that guy played Locke?
Yes.
I never watched it. I just know that name.
Well, he did play him. He also played the stepfather in that movie we watched, where the kid superimposed the faces on top of each other. Remember that?
I do, but I don't remember that movie. I do know exactly. Oh, we were watching that here. We haven't covered it, though. Yeah, that Stepfather. It was Stepfather 3 or 4.
Anyway, another fucking tangent. 3 hours, people. 3 hours.
Too much fun.
He's like, you're going to make me... McCready, the guy who owns the casino, he's like, you're going to make me my designer drug. So now we're setting it up. We know where Frank is. He's in Reno.
I love this because we cut away from the scene and it's just like Mr. Devereaux. And we fade into Rutger rolling into some town. He's fingering He's fingering a mailbox, and we see, like, as his hand goes over the letters. Was it
embossed, or was it just, like, painted on there? Somehow he could descend. He's literally like Daredevil. He can feel the paint.
This is Jack's movie. Jack, what kind of letters are we talking about here?
Oh, my God. You're going to ask me to... It's just the power of his supernatural senses, his sense of touch, his sense of geolocation. He probably travels via the energy of the ley lines. He can actually pick that up, like little vibrations along the hairs of his forearms, like like an ant. He can read it. He just knows where he's going. I mean, he somehow managed to get himself all the way across the continental United States.
Yeah,
walks along this road. I mean, is he stopping every 5 minutes? Hey, do you know where Frank Devereaux lives? Like, he makes it there, and then there's the moment where something falls from the sky and he just snatches it. Like he can,
that's something
air displacement.
You know that something was, Jack. It was a triceratops, or Griff would say an elephant, a pig, or rhino. It was a triceratops,
an herbivore dinosaur. I mean,
now
did you know for the very minute?
Yes, exactly. Yes. They show a close. They show a close up of that little fuck Billy. He's painting Billy on the belly of the Triceratops.
He's carving Billy into it. You motherfucker.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. I mean, he might have carved it in. Maybe he was like doing a wash over it to fill it in. But yeah, because that's why I was like, you might be right. He might have carved it and then he just washed it. Because I was like, how is he going to feel Billy on the thing?
Yeah.
But he's a Butterfinger, so it falls out of the window.
I love how that worked out because he's like 8 feet away from the window. And then there's just that happens to be that little awning part, so it bounces off of that. And again, I mean, maybe he can read a flat letter because he just...
Daredevil could.
He just feels... He could?
Yeah, he could. He could feel like the ink, the impressions of the ink.
Really?
Well, he had actual superpowers.
Well, right. I get it, but still. Oh, my God. This movie. And so he feels the air, and he's just like, something's charging towards me. And he just sticks his hand out, and right there, boom, pig.
Goes to the door, knocks on it, and we meet the wasted role. We see Meg Foster.
I feel like you guys were talking about this when I was testing the audio. What was going on with Meg Foster in this? Because she looked rough.
Well, she's known for having super intense blue eyes. That's her thing.
And
it was all like dueling beautiful blue eyes because we had Rutger's beautiful blue eyes and we had hers.
Well, I get more of that Fender Tremolo vibe off her.
Kinda, yeah. And
I feel she was robbed of a career just because it's like she's otherwise a very normally conventionally attractive woman, but just her eyes are so disconcertingly unusual that I feel that just like no one knew how to cast her properly because you can't put this woman in like a normal role for an entire film without it being just weird. So I don't know. I think that poor Meg Foster just life gave her lemons and she was able to make a little lemonade, but that lemonade stand did not do as well as it should have. And I'm just looking at it now, and he's carving it into the clay of the dinosaur with like a little clay scooping tool, like you'd use back in art class.
Well, you know who actually did cast Meg Foster, right? Golan-globus, when they cast her in He-Man, Master of the Universe, and she played Evil Lady Witch. So
see, it works in that role because it's like a slightly disconcerting supernatural kind of look, and
I think her eyes
like
look
mom.
Cool. I mean, I think she should have played vampires and shit. You know?
Yeah, I could see that.
That's the problem. I think it's the time that she was an actress. We just weren't making like tons of sort of like weird fantasy movies or superhero type stuff. Like today, you could cast her like that and they'd be like, "Oh, this is great. We don't have to CGI her eyes to look like weird and sorceress. Like she's just doing it au naturel." Unfortunately, like she's in this for 5 minutes, totally wasted opportunity. Frankly, I'm going to say it right now. Maybe this will cost me followers on Twitter, but little snot-nosed kid should have been the one who gets it and, gets wasted. And, Meg Foster should have been the one who Nick takes cross-country to see Frank. Like, shoot the kid, save the mom. Like, that's how we should have done the script. It would have been 100 times better.
I would have liked it.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. Fuck this kid.
Yeah,
shit.
No, I don't care for this kid at all.
So Frank's like, Nick, I'm looking for Frank Devereaux. And she's like, he's not here anymore. We're separated. He's like, well, I served with him in Spartan Squad back in the Nam. And I think we were saying how he bailed on Nick.
Yeah.
I'm getting Matrix vibes off of
You're
Frank.
getting the Matrix.
Frank was like, I'm not comfortable with my sexuality. Like he thought he found himself, and he's like, no, I have to be what a real man is. And then he runs away and leaves his buddy to die.
That explains it. And Reno, of course, has they have the family restaurants by day, kink bar by night type places. So Frank probably got in there until he was able to get in his chemist.
That's probably what the real trouble is in. He was worried that they were going to send pictures.
So how does that explain Annie?
Beard.
Okay.
Beard.
We're all in agreement.
So she lets him in. He just says, "Hey, well, he's blind, so I guess she doesn't like. She's not afraid of this guy." She's like, "What can a blind man do?" Little did she know.
Can we? Yeah. I'm sorry, Jack. This is going to be a me and Murray conversation because I don't think you've watched Forever Knight's Blind Faith episode.
I have not.
Okay. Well, you will after you listen to our Tippy Tap episode coming to you soon.
Can't wait.
So we accidentally stumbled on another show where it just so happened the plot involved a blind woman, except all of her friends bailed on her because they were like, we don't like being friends with a cripple, being that she was blind. And in this movie, everybody embraces Rutger.
Well, because Rutger is magnetic. You can't help but embrace Rutger, Hauer.
So I kind of appreciate that at least these people aren't complete monsters like Tracy, the fucking villain of our next Tippy Tap.
Right.
Or the Tippy
Look for it
Sunday.
So, so she invites him in, offers him some coffee. Billy, why did Billy have coke sniffles? Like, what was going on? Like, why was that a plot point for like 5 seconds?
It's a terrible plot point. He's got allergies. All it does is make him even more annoying.
Well,
he's constantly rubbing and sniffling and just looking like this disgusting little germ factory of a child. And
he's literally snot-nosed.
He should have just had that nose blown away by a load of double-up buckshot, 30 seconds into this confrontation. But Billy, no, and the Billy just paints the walls with his brains. He's done.
Wow.
And then it's, Rutger Hauer and Meg Foster on a romantic cross-country journey. Where instead of a surrogate father relationship, it becomes this budding romance. Like, that's where this movie should have gone.
But then they wouldn't care about Frank. They would just go off and do their thing,
Well, you have to care about Frank. Is this sort of like platonic detail that you need to take care of? They both love him, but in a romantic fashion. And, I
guess
you can make it work. Get me a case of bourbon and the script and a typewriter. I'll sit down. I'll work this out.
I want that script. But
it'll happen.
Because sorry, I'm gonna jump ahead. But Nick admits that his mission was to find Frank to tell him he forgives him. So it still works. It's like, hey, I forgive you. Also, man, your wife's got a sweet can.
Call back to Forever Night. The person who got fucked is the most forgiving character.
Yes.
You guys, Sunday, look for it. So can we point out Billy is the most 1990 outfit on?
Yes.
Acid wash jeans. Gigantic size clown tennis shoes, like these gigantic fucking tennis shoes, and like a rugby shirt or something. And he's got this fucking annoying blonde mullet.
Well, if you're paying close attention, that's the same rugby shirt that John DeHart wears.
Yes, it is. It's like rugby right across it. And he comes. The first thing he does is flip off this fucking blind guy,
and then tries to punch him. He goes up and tests his metal. He tries to punch him in the face, and he catches it. He's like, "You need to go blow your nose, son."
Yeah, because he catches it effortlessly, and he's like, "Oh," fucks off.
Oh my god! And so we come back, and of course, now she, Meg Ryan or whatever we said her name was, she comes.
Lynn is her character.
Lynn has got the full like tea set. She was just like, oh, wow, tea? Oh, okay. So apparently she's been waiting for this moment for a real classy man who is willing to sit down and have a conversation with a woman a single mother.
Who has needs.
Yep. And he's doing the whole fucking Karate Kid ceremony with the tea. He's like doing whole circular motions, half crescent, quarter moon, waxing gibbous. And she is impressed. I read those eyes. I'm not afraid of those eyes. Those are great eyes.
They are great eyes. And she explains, like, Frank and I are divorced. He bailed on us. And then we get a ring at the door.
No, it wasn't even a ring, was it? Didn't he just send somebody?
He did
like a pressure plate was just slightly weighed down, and he was just like, so, Lynn, tell me, are you expecting anybody? Like, you got a boyfriend in your life? What are you talking about? Well, there's somebody at your door. Knock, knock.
And it's the police, the popo. And they're like, ma'am, we need to see your son, Billy. We can't explain. We just need to see him.
Man, this is like Griff PD, because as soon as the door opens, they're in. They just pushed right through. They're like, who's this in this picture? You guys drinking tea? That's for the gays, all right?
And
I'm sorry, we're in 89.
We're thinking these are legit cops, and then we see Slag roll in.
Oh my god!
And he just immediately goes for the CDs, rifling through them, like got this, need this.
Hey, at least he stayed in the living room. I thought he'd be type of creep.
But he didn't even take his shoes off. He was just rubbing. He had muddy shoes on. He was just being a dick.
It wasn't even muddy out. He made his own mud.
Yes, he literally just stepped in.
Like there was a sprinkler going off on the neighbor's yard, and he went over and stomped in the ground to get mud. It's that kind of villain, everybody. That's why Randall Tex Cobb is one of the greatest villains of all time.
I'm looking at that moment right now on my screen, and he's also just like all sweaty and kind of disgusting looking at the same time. So it's just like sweat like running down his forehead, and he's got his hair all slicked back. Like these guys, for a bunch of violent thug-like criminals, like they're kind of sweating this little trip. All they got to do is grab a kid. Suddenly, boom. Rutger Hauer is like the monkey wrench and the gears, and they don't know what to do. Who's this man? It's a stick. Why is he wearing this fly fisherman's vest like over a striped dress shirt? Like I can't explain his outfit. It does. I'm looking at it right now. I think I actually own that dress shirt.
Yes,
I think I might, with the double white stripe. Like I think I've got that hanging in my closet right now.
Amazing.
I am not going to wear that ever again. Now that I've noticed.
Oh, come on! You got to go full on. Get the yellow Walkman and get the big old hat and whatever.
I could do a Nick cosplay. There we go.
That's what I want to see. Nick couldn't see it, but I can see it, and I want to.
If the fans demand it, I'm going to have to make it happen.
Oh well. I mean, if me and Murray demanded, does that count as double?
I've got the Zatoichi sword, so that also like adds to the authenticity of it all.
It's all coming together. I Oh man, I had something. It's just gone. It's just gone. My brain is
The
going.
solution is we're in Florida. That's why everyone's sweaty.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's hard
That
work
makes
being a
more
villain
sense.
of this caliber as well.
So they just, it's like, okay, they're cops, and then they just say, fuck it, we're just going to be like henches. We're not, like, we took all the trouble of getting these disguise. I'm assuming they're in disguise. These aren't real cops. And then they're just like, fuck it, just grab the kid. Like, what's the whole, why go through the whole thing of being dressed like cops if you're going to immediately drop it in like 5 seconds?
Yeah. And so Billy, God damn it with these names. Nick gets up and he's doing Mr. Magoo act again. Right. Everybody, I think we can sit down with a nice cup of tea.
He spills the tea on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Just talk this over like gentlemen. And they don't care for his Jimmy Stewart, pacifism here. So they fucking Slag, I think, is the first guy who pulls out a shotgun, or do they smack Lynn around or something?
They smack her around, then he grabs the shotgun and just blasts her. Like, boom. Kills her immediately.
Right. And you're like, because I mean, Meg Foster's not a superstar, but she's a well enough name that you're like, holy shit, they're just gonna kill her off in the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah, she gets 5 minutes on here.
Right. And then it's like, but it was, like I said, we were talking about the tone. There's no blood, though. It's like black, or like when she gets shot. And then
she must have been a tulpa.
Nick goes into action. Nick goes into action, starts slicing and a dice. He's cutting statues off. He's cutting hands off.
Yeah, hands come off.
Slashes the black dude.
Yeah, he like pushes the black dude into an office and like cuts him, and then comes back around the corner because he's looking for Slag. And then there's a moment where the black dude, like a zombie, is coming on him with like a pair of scissors or something.
Yeah. I think he does one of those like backhanded like stabs, like Jack hates so much.
Yeah. I just watched it. Sorry, I've got this running in the background. And yeah, he slashes at him like 4 times, all with the sword reversed. So it's just this super awkward, swoopy figure 8 kind of maneuver, and you're like, oh man, I suppose it looks great, but oh yeah, now he's fighting Randall takes.
Well, it was scary enough for Slag because he just jumps out a window and takes off. And then Lynn, with her dying breath, she's like, "Please take Billy to his father in Reno." And he's got to. You can't deny a dying person's request.
I mean, it helps that he was already going in that direction.
Well, we don't know. Maybe he was just shrug his shoulders. He's like, I made it here. I don't really need to see Frank. Okay. Maybe he wanted to leave the message with his wife. Like, hey,
his ex-wife. No, I just hurt my neck. What is this Rutger month? Rutger month is trying to kill me.
I told you, we're the only people that can do this.
If we survive to the end of this 3-hour podcast, fucking.
So he hasn't worked in 20 years, so he doesn't have any money. They got to ride a bus. They got to do the cross country thing. I was getting, you know what? Think about annoying kids. I'm getting a real over the top vibe off of this shit. Like the kid is super fucking annoying and a douchebag. And they got it, instead of a truck, they got to take a bus across country.
I think this kid would, if it was 2 years later they made this movie, this would be Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh my God, you're right.
He was a total Home Improvement kid.
Yeah. What if they casted Tim Allen to be the blind swordsman?
That would be awesome. And so they get on a bus, and like it's the classic, like, okay, he just grabs Billy and runs out. It's the classic, like, I can't tell you right now. Yeah, okay, I accept that, stranger.
Kids love blind people. They'll follow them anywhere.
He doesn't. He flipped the fucking blind guy off the first moment he met him.
That was him being, a scamp, as they call the kids.
Is that it?
Yes, that is
a lovable scamp.
There we go. Yeah, it's like a little rascal.
So, which one, Spanky?
Alfalfa.
Alfalfa.
He looks more like a dingus, like Alfalfa.
So they go to the bus station. We get a little, like, he's about to rat out Nick, like, this isn't my father, this guy kidnapped me, but he's like, I'm gonna go along. I trust this guy because he's blind.
This kid, he's so sick of being stuck in his house with his mom with his allergies.
Yeah, he wants to get out of Florida. The allergies are killing him.
He's been carving up animals he doesn't even recognize. You're like, what is this? A pig? An elephant? Rhinoceros? I don't even know. But I'm gonna lay claim to it and carve my name into it. So he's like ready for this hobo adventure, and he's like, all right, if
He's gonna meet him halfway.
I'm gonna meet you halfway. But if we're getting that bus together, I get the window seat because look, you're blind. You can't even see.
Ooh, a little burn because he said, "Look, you're blind."
Yeah. Oh, look, you're blind.
Wow.
So they get on the bus, like immediately. Billy's manspreading all over the place.
He started manspreading.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know about it. We don't do public transportation.
You see how gigantic his shoes were? They can't fit.
The clown shoes, yeah. Jack, what happens to someone who manspreads like this on public transport?
No one likes it. No one likes it at all. Like, and you know, it is a thing. Like, it absolutely is. Like, you might think that it's some sort of like urban hyperbole, but when you take public transportation, there's always that one dude who has to be like, his knees need to be further width apart than his shoulders by a wide margin, or sit so that his legs are like stretched out into the aisle, so you've got to step over them. And like, they don't make eye contact. They're just like on their phone or staring off into space. And it's like, dude, you know exactly what you're doing. You're just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. Like, no one likes you. This is just your asshole-ish defiance of the world. So no, they're universally reviled and hated, and I have no problem just like, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to kick you right in the ankle, but I'm trying to get past your giant sneakers or your asshole backpack, which is sticking out into the aisle, preventing anyone from getting by you. Like, that's why when I get on the Twitters 9:30 in the morning every morning, I'm seething with rage already. It's because I've just taken a half-hour trolley ride into work. That fuels my hate fire.
Like, we're, of course, in Michigan, where everybody drives. If you're thinking trucks are getting wider, it's because they are. It's because we manspread when we drive. So the gas pedal is like so far away from the actual door now because we got to manspread while we drive. It's just what we got to do. But when I travel to a place with public transport, I already know how to disarm the situation, Murray. You want me to tell you how you do it? You get right into that manspreader's ear or women spreader, all right? Or anybody who's spreading. Person spreader, they, them spreader. You just get in there and you say, meet me halfway. And you know what they do? Close their legs.
Halfway?
Halfway.
Okay.
Enough room for you to sit down comfortably.
I'm going to try that the next time and see how that works. And I'll report back to you.
If you get harmed.
Just get right up on him. Slowly whisper, meet me halfway.
If you get harmed, I'll pay half your bills because I'll meet you halfway.
I'll just lean it. Griff says, meet me halfway.
Yeah, just preface it by saying Griff says. So you're, you know. So, okay, so they're on their journey.
Oh,
Cut to
we're
Frank.
going to Hitcherland.
Frank is in Reno, and he's locked up in a suite. A woman shows up. She's got the sexy Playboy club outfit kind of on. She looks like Zatanna from the comic books.
I was going to say earlier, yeah, Zatanna.
Yeah. And she got glasses, though. So you know what that means, Griff. It means she's smart. You put glasses on somebody, they're smart.
I thought it meant they were a geek.
She's not some dumb ditz, waitress. She's smart. She's working for her PhD in anthropology.
I will say I did like her style later. I didn't like the jean skirt, but I liked the shirt.
So apparently she has a relationship she's the new squeeze of Frank.
Wait, Frank's got multiple squeeze?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
A geek like him?
Yeah.
He's got classic horseshoe. He's banging ladies?
Apparently.
Wait,
and
so you're telling me in the 80s people were into the brains?
She's trying to talk him into doing the designer drugs. She's like, look, you don't fuck with a guy like McCready. People owe McCready money. They pay.
Are you trying to say she said, look, man, you cross the McCreadys, you're going to pay.
Exactly. So he's kind of like, God, man, I guess I'm going to have to, just do it. He doesn't want to. He's moral objections. You just say no, Nancy Reagan, but he might have to do it. I mean, I kind of think I'm on the casino guys. Like he does owe them money. They didn't rip him off.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this situation either.
And he also bailed. He's got a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
He kind of is. Like, this is life kicking him in the face because he's
reality kicking him in the face.
Is it reality?
Yeah. He's a piece of shit.
Jack, what's your feelings on Frank Devereaux?
I wish he died by the end of the movie, actually.
I think
he should. I think there should have been no redemption arc for him. He is just this like piece of shit. Like he runs out on his wife. He ran out on Nick. He ran out on the kid, and now he's like crying. It's like, yeah, you owe money to an organized crime boss. Of course, he wants you to make designer drugs. Like, make the drugs, you idiot. You sleep in the bed you have made, you degenerate.
I'm willing to go as far as death is too good for him.
Wow.
Should he be blinded? Should he?
That's a little too on point, I think. Okay. I think he should have fallen into the acid bath.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
For some reason, the fight takes place, it shifts into a fashion factory, and he just drops in. There's a skeleton bobbing in it from Death Wish 5. He's like, oh no. The second time someone's fallen
in the fashion industry.
It's cutthroat. So we go back to the bus. We get nice little touches where we're seeing the progress because they will stop somewhere and it'll be whatever that state is known for. Like we see crawdads for sale. Oh, they're Louisiana.
Was that jambalaya too?
Yeah, jambalaya.
Man, I love a good jambalaya.
And so we're getting progression. We stop for some crawdads. It's raining. So Nick, being a blind man, he can't see. And he slips and falls in a puddle. And as you're a little douchebag like Billy is, the first instinct is to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
He's
a little punk.
Right.
Snot-nosed.
And so then he's, and then he walks in, he slips.
Yeah, he tries to run.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to beat you to the seat. I'm going to fart on it.
And then he falls in mud. It's like, my acid wash. It's just
it was just the amount of acid wash I liked.
And so now Nick laughs. And it's kind of a bonding experience. It
really is. Because they're both laughing at misery and they're realizing we're good company for each other because we both hate life so much that we're willing to laugh.
And there's so much good company that Billy offers Nick some candy.
Yeah, Jack. What kind of rock candy was this?
The kind you pick up in the driveway of a tiny little barbecue and gas joint. Apparently, it's so cringing when you hear that sound effect, that little Foley effect of the rock grinding against his teeth. You just shudder listening to it because it's so horrible. And then he pretends to swallow it, and the kid's kind of eyes bug out a little bit, and then he spits it in the kid's face, and you just hear that little thwacking sound, and the kid starts crying, and Nick laughs, and it's just perfect.
They really got us with that awful Foley note. I've had horrible amount of teeth work, cost me thousands of dollars because we don't care to insure people's teeth, even when you have insurance and everything.
Exactly.
Oh, but that fucking noise. I'm sure we all had it where it's just you felt it in your face, that horrible crunch. So Foley artist, he didn't win enough awards, or maybe he did. I don't know.
I think he got an Oscar for Blind Fury.
Is there an Oscar for Foley work?
I think there is sound. I don't know Foley work, but there's sound definitely.
There needs to be one specifically for Foley work.
Bus moves on. Time to finally tell Billy what his relationship is with his father.
Well, yeah, because fucking Billy pulls a Griff and is like, "This is like a living room, right?" Finds fucking Nick's wallet, just pulls it, and starts flipping through it.
Yeah.
And
he sees a picture, the Nam picture, and then we get a flashback to where that picture is being taken. So apparently they're in Nam doing a photo shoot because one guy's just enjoying the hell out of taking pictures.
Well, yeah, it was Murray. We always talk about the cop stories. How it was always 2 weeks before retirement.
Right.
This is 2 hours before they ship back to America.
Right.
So they're partying their asses off.
Having a good old time. And then, wouldn't you know, they get attacked.
Ugh.
And this is where we see there's a big firefight. Nick, being brave as can be, goes out there, first out there.
He's fending off predator monsters. He's carrying his wounded allies around. He's doing everything. And yeah, Frank is hiding behind trees. He's shitting himself. He's crying. He's falling in the mud. Very akin to a minute ago when Billy
his toe and he's like, Nick, save me. And that's where Nick goes into action, runs, bursts a fucking explosion. He's blinded. And then somehow Frank deals with his stub toe and he gets away. I mean, literally, he leaves all his platoon. Like, you would think that would be desertion. Like, Frank looks like the kind of guy who lies so much. He always has a story made up, ready to go. And so, yes, he's like this. So now, like, we all learn. Well, we learned at the beginning, but now finally, Billy learns the relationship and how he went blind. Next morning, bus stops at another store in Kansas, I believe.
You think it was Kansas?
I'm pretty sure it was. And because cornfields. And Billy runs out. He's got to call his mom because Nick's been mum about, no pun intended, been mum about not letting him know what's going on with his mom. And he's like, he stops him. He's like, don't waste those 2 dimes because your mom's dead.
There is a very touching scene where he takes him over, sits him up on a tractor, and it just goes silent as the camera just pans out further and further, and you just see the anguish.
And he just runs into that cornfield. And then we see in the background the MAGA group, like prehistoric MAGA group.
Yeah, the MAGA militia.
And they're just looking shifty like a MAGA person would look.
They're looking for Hillary voters.
Right. They have a feeling there's going to be some woman named Hillary running in 2016.
They're very politically aware.
And so we're like, we know what's up. We see the redheads. We know what's up. But Nick runs off, chases him. I think we're going back to, we're talking about Zatoichi tropes. This is the bamboo forest scene, but it's corn.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I like how he's somehow able to exactly and precisely gauge how much concealment all these stalks of corn, because the whole idea is that he's somehow able to slip from row to corn, and like they don't see him, but he knows exactly where they are, when he'll be seen, when he won't be seen, because it's that like ghosting around through the cover, killing them one at a time, Predator style, and they don't know what's going on, so they all panic and they'll run around like idiots, and he just slaughters them. And it's like, if this was the real world, they'd be like, oh yeah, it's that dude right there, he's hiding behind like one corn stalk, just shoot him and we'd be done.
Slag gets a hold of Billy, throws him some bizarre rape shack in the middle of the cornfield. Like, why is there a shack in the middle of the cornfield?
I think you
for the raping.
I was just gonna say, I think you hit the sexual crime on the nose there, because I think that's exactly what that was.
Thank God, Nick was there.
Like, that's a Timothy McVeigh type.
I hate Billy and all, but I don't want to see a kid get raped or anything. So,
is that a Norm joke? Trump is not a good guy.
So like Jack said, he's doing all these fucking cat and mouse ninja tricks, like standing out in between them when they get their backs to him, and he goes, hey, over here, and then he walks back out. They turn around and shoot each other.
Oh my God, I love this, because it wasn't that he said anything. Okay. So we got to have a jobber match. It's been so long. We haven't really seen him do any kind of combat since the house, and that was close quarters. Now we get to see him play,
and he's doing real combat. He's not doing Magoo shit.
Yeah, exactly. He's not doing Magoo shit anymore. This is life or death. So he's got to be real here, and we're getting to see the mind games on maze games, on cornfield games. We're seeing it all. Field of Dreams right here, everybody. So the first guy, we see all these goobers running around, and we see the greatest fucking top 10 of my
very progressive though, because they're led by a woman.
A woman was in there?
There was a woman in
there.
There was?
Yeah.
She's the one. She's got 2 like nickel-plated snub-nosed Magnum revolvers.
I think she's wearing like a rebel like cap too, like a Civil War cap.
I don't remember this at all.
Well, she looked kind of rough, so you might have thought she was a man.
So, anyways, we got them. We got like some fucking slackjaw, just your typical, degenerates, as Hillary Clinton likes to call them. What,
Basket full of degenerates.
bag of deplorables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And then, of course, we have the most lovable villain of all time. My favorite. Going to talk about him for years. Popcorn. So the aforementioned, hey, look here, was him going in between two goons that were in between each other. This was Popcorn and another person. He opens his cane to reveal his blade, and that makes a pop and then a click when he closes it back up. And he also goes, woohoo. And the people turn and shoot each other.
Yeah.
So we got to see that last week in The Hitcher when he hit the brakes and they shot each other. Now we get to see in this where another, fade away.
Then he puts the MAGA cap on a scarecrow and starts fucking with Slag. Because Slag's at the rape shack in the middle of the cornfield.
Yeah.
And he's firing off. He's getting scared.
Oh, yeah.
And then Nick enters the field or the rape shack area. And the slash is like the main support beam, so the rape shack collapses, and then he slashes Slag.
Yeah, he slashes the shit out of Slag,
and we're like, oh shit, I guess he's dead now. Just like Meg Foster, just a wasted character.
I don't even want to begin to what he did to Popcorn, because he just slowly took that bag of popcorn away. Popcorn didn't even notice; he was too frightened, and he just loaded it with MSG and trans fats. He's not going to last long with all that MSG and trans fat.
Popcorn died 10 years later, but he did die because of that.
And it was awful, too.
Yeah. And, so we're like, oh, shit, Slag's dead, I guess. And then he gets Billy's like, I'm under here. And he rescues him. He's like, my acid wash. He's constantly worried about his ass. Are they dirty?
Wait a minute. Did you guys ever own acid wash?
I'm pretty sure I had at least one pair of acid wash at one time in the late 80s. Yeah.
Jack?
I think one pair, yes. Yeah. But they weren't, I remember distinctly, they were like the sort of half acid wash. So they weren't that like pale speckled blue, that sort of robin's egg blue that like your classic acid washes. It was much more of sort of like mid-range blue acid wash. So not that like bright pale kind of look. Like I had some dignity, not a lot.
Wow,
but some. Yeah.
So even then, you guys weren't treasuring your acid wash. You were like, "Fuck, why?"
Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I might have been living in a small town in rural Maine, but even back then, I knew that was not a fashion trend that I wanted to participate in. We knew which way that was going.
Experimented with pants, and we realized it was wrong.
I just imagine you guys being like shits like I was, because up until I had to go to like junior high, so like 13, my mom like, let's get you some nice like jeans or khakis.
Dungarees.
And I was like, no, I saw this guy, the hedgehog. He always wears sweatpants. I'm wearing sweatpants. That's I
have never worn sweatpants in my life.
And so all through elementary school, sweatpants.
That's terrible. That's actually awful.
Since then, I chose it.
I know, you're abusing yourself.
Oh, okay. And since the day they were like, junior high, you can't do that anymore. Since that day,
you couldn't wear sweatpants in junior high. Why?
You could.
It's because of puberty.
Yeah,
getting all those boners,
too many boners everywhere.
Hide it with the sweatpants.
Yeah. I had enough awkward moments in gym class, so I was like, "Yeah, I get it. I don't want to be wearing sweatpants."
That would be the perfect place to wear sweatpants. Would be gym class.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Reasonable spot.
Yeah. But since then, now it's like sweatpants. Even when Murray comes over to my house, I've worn my like shorts, but I've never worn sweatpants in front of you. I won't even do that.
Thank you for that.
Because I'm always got a raging boner when you come over.
You, every animal in this house, everyone listening. So, Slag, thankfully, Slag isn't dead because he's wearing his Trash Lodge vest.
And a good thing
literally was like he had like a garbage bag stopped the katana.
He had a quilt and sweatpants. He had a boner.
So
that's what stopped the sword.
Yes.
That's the sword. Sword that cut through a statue like earlier.
Yeah, statue, doorknobs, fucking
Chops through the support beam of the whole cabin, knocks it down, but is somehow stopped by a few layers of fabric.
He stopped by Ireland on his way over and cut the Blarney Stone in half.
So we're back to Reno again, unfortunately, and we see McCready up in his like penthouse, and he's just flipping out. He's got his man Cobb with him. The guy looks like Boss Hogg.
Yeah, he does.
And they're learning about this mysterious blind man that like stopped their goons, and they're like, we need to stop this motherfucker. And we also learned that he's the only reason he's an honest businessman. It's just he is deep in debt because of his casino. He's like Trump. He doesn't know how to run. He's the only person who can't make money off a casino.
McCready, we're talking about.
Yes.
McCready was in debt.
Yes, which is why he wanted the drugs.
Oh.
So he's not. He doesn't have dreams of being a drug dealer. He just needs to get out of debt so he can keep his casino, his American dream.
You know what? He couldn't been whoever was the commissioner of the NFL at the time to move a football team to his city to just make easy money.
No, there's not going to be any Reno Raiders. No.
Oh my! That I would like way better than Las Vegas Raiders. The Reno Raiders is good.
So I was like, how are we going to stop this blind man with a sword? Get me Bruce Lee. And the guy's like,
Bruce Lee's dead, sir?
He's been dead for 15
It's very
years.
Monty Burns type scene.
Well, give me his brother. And he's like, will do, and walks off. So we go back to our boys, Nick and Billy. And they're at a waterfall?
I didn't see waterfall. Did I write waterfall?
Yes.
They're at the edge of some lake or something. Okay. It's like a little campground.
I just saw a little campground too. I don't know how waterfalls.
We got to remember, Billy.
Oh no! I put in waterfalls because he does the fucking move from Face Off, where he runs his fingers down his face.
Okay.
And
you can feel Billy's tears. Oh, Billy
Yes.
cry.
Well, look,
I
Billy
can't
just
cry.
learned his mom is dead, and he almost got raped by Tex Cobb. So I'm going to cut him some slack. And he got a hole in his fucking acid wash. So he's just like, fuck, this kid's been through the ringer.
Yeah, for sure.
And so he's crying, and
he's been told he can't manspread on a public transport anymore. He ruined his acid wash. He nearly got raped in a rape shack in a cornfield.
The worst B-52 song of all time, by the way.
Rape shack cornfield. Oh, man. So you're right. He's having a hard time. He's feeling a little soft now, and he's like, I just want to talk to my mom. Billy, I already told you. Your mom's in heaven now. Well, not really heaven, because I don't know what's going on with her eyes. I think she was a vampire or a demon.
He's like, I don't believe in him. But we're not going to get philosophical about it.
Yeah.
Your mom's underground. She's taking the dirt nap.
Yeah.
She ain't coming back.
He quotes the whole Tom Waits song, and it's all good.
And so he starts crying like a little bitch would do.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you probably think less of me because I'm crying. Like,
yeah, because Nick has his hands running down those waterfalls. That's why I put waterfalls.
He's chasing waterfalls.
Yeah, and he's feeling them. He's just like, no, sweet boy, it's okay. It's okay to cry. Men cry. It's not a problem. Boys don't cry. And then
even Robert Smith.
He goes through the whole Cure song too. He thinks he's gonna relate to the boy because he's got the Walkman. What do you think he had in there?
He wishes he
disintegration.
Could cry. He wishes he could cry because he's like, I can't because of the aloe vera, because of the green onions,
green onion, aloe vera, whatever.
I can't make tears anymore. So I'm really fucked if I get shampoo in my eyes.
Rutger literally says, I can't cry anymore. The place that makes tears inside my head
tear ducts
doesn't work anymore.
They're called tear ducts, Rutger. That's all they are. Tear
Is
ducts.
it really called tear ducts?
Yeah, it's your tear ducts.
Okay.
And so I guess they go to sleep. They wake up the next day.
Hold on. Jack, you told us that you saw this movie as a 16-year-old. How did this make you feel about crying as a man?
I mean, I was already an elevated specimen as a child. So, I felt that it was perfectly acceptable for him to cry. I understood that being vulnerable in that way actually strengthens you in another way. It's like tempering a sword. Like you have to dip it into, quench it with the right kind of liquid, and that liquid is tears.
All right.
And that gives you the right tempering as a person.
Oh, my god!
So,
Oh man!
I'm also noticing that Rutger Hauer has this really fancy one of those little Italian coffee pot makers, the kind where it traps the grains. I forget the term for it. It's like a maki something. It's the little coffee campfire coffee makers. I'm like, wow, that's really fancy for a guy who's just sort of been hoboing it across the country.
He's a man of few possessions, so the things he does have are really good.
Yeah, high quality.
Yeah.
He's not just pouring a handful of Folgers crystals into an old tin pot and stirring it with the tip of his sword. Like he's got his own little, high-end coffee brewing mechanism.
I imagine part of his training every morning is he just throws up whole beans that he keeps in a nice sealed sack. Yeah, really.
A little pouch somewhere in his esophagus.
Yeah. So it's got to be tea. It's tea that he's keeping in here. Okay, so that's already ground. They don't really do fresh ground tea like they do coffee. Huh.
All right. So
mocha pot. That's what it's called.
They're in like a campground. I don't know what the fuck.
Again, they're still in the same campground.
They're like these old people watching them.
This is what was weird for me. Because I was looking down to write my notes, and then I look back up. It's daylight, and there's old people with the classic picnic table, setting up, got their fried chicken out. That was what I was ate at picnics, was fried chicken.
Okay.
So,
and then we see there's like a fucking Madagascar hissing cockroach crawling across Billy's face.
I think it was enormous.
And Nick nonchalantly just slices it in half. And then the old guy in the back, I gotta get me one of them.
Yeah.
And we have a little laugh. And then cut to, finally, we're in Reno. We find Frank's place. They've been hitching for the rest of it. They've been hitching a ride. And they make it to Frank's. They knock on the door, and Annie answers.
Yeah, well, immediately, Billy bitches out. He's like, I can't do it. He abandoned me. He's got a horrible allergy reaction to his dad, apparently.
It's the coke sniffs.
Yeah, this kid might have a coke habit.
He might.
Acid wash jeans are great for hiding cocaine here. So, Rutger sits down with him and just tells him, he lifts him by the chin, just lifts him up, stares him in the eyes. Even though he's blind, he still stares the kid in his eyes because he knows Billy can read his eyes.
Well, he goes, look, you little shit. Your fucking old man blinded me. And you're pissed. You're whining about him just running out on you. Fuck you. You're going to meet your dad, and we're going to end this fucking bullshit now.
Also, I'll get you a fucking WWF ice cream bar if you go visit your dad.
That's tempting.
You got to get that Ultimate Warrior.
So Annie answers the door. She's like, your dad's not here. Come on in. Walk in. Gun immediately put to Nick's head.
Immediately.
This is where we meet Lyle and Tector.
Jack, you have
that
gun database open. What kind of gun was that?
I'm looking at it right now. I believe
we've done research. I found that website like last year when we were looking up a Steven Seagal gun or something. That website is fascinating.
Oh, it is. It's a Smith & Wesson Model 686.
Oh, nice.
357 Magnum with a 6-inch barrel. So,
now, would you like to take us through this scene here?
I mean, it makes me laugh that he's had all this supernatural kind of sense sort of stuff, and then he walks through the door, someone sticks a Magnum in his ear, and then the guy just sort of flips the gun around and cold cocks him in the head with the butt of the revolver, and he immediately goes down. Like, in the beginning of this movie, he took on like 5 armed dudes in a house that he had just been in like 2 minutes ago, and it just takes them all out. And all those guys had guns like pointed at him already. So how he just doesn't like slap that pistol away and slice and dice these 2 idiots is beyond me. I suppose it's because he's not sure what's going on with with Billy or the woman, and he just wants to, play it safe. But yeah, he gets taken out like a chump. But I do have to shout out the Lyle and Tector reference because I'm a huge Wild Bunch fan, and I think it's fantastic that we just sort of slip that in. And also, there's apparently a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode where there's 2 vampire rednecks named Lyle and Tector. So, Peckinpah's legacy lives on in the strangest places. It warms my heart.
So they zip tie him, throw him in the back of a van, and they're going to take him off to McCready's. And so they got Annie up in the front with him, and they got his cane. And which was Tector? Which one was which? Lyle was the one with the long hair, right? Tector was the other one. We're gonna say that.
I think they can. It's just interchangeable. 2 idiots.
Yeah.
2 idiot brothers.
Tector's fucking with a cane, and then he finds out. He's like, "Oh shit, there's a fucking sword in here." And then we established he chopped through a support beam, barely grazed slag, and now it's all super sharp again because he's lightly touches his thumb.
Yeah.
And it's fucking sliced open.
And he doesn't even slide down. He just touches it. And usually, you can test the blade and it'll just, because of how resistance and physics works and everything, it wouldn't cut you. But no, this blade,
it's that sharp.
It decides it has a mind of its own, is what I'm trying to say here. It's a supernatural blade.
It's like an Elric kind of sword.
A who?
It can suck up people's fucking souls and shit.
I didn't say
Stormbringer. Yep.
What?
So
I'm 100% behind this idea now that he mentions this. Yep.
Okay, Jack's on the page. This is good. We have Jack here to go on your weird soul-sucking tangent.
Elric, you've never heard of that?
Elric?
Yeah.
Oh my
Eldritch?
God. Tim, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know.
Who's Tim?
There's a lot of
me.
Oh, you.
God damn. This boy needs to learn. But anyway, we're not going to Gen X him. He gets really ruffled when me and Taffy Gen X him. So we're not.
Yeah, real ruffled. That's how I got gray.
So he immediately goes, "Suck my wound" to Annie.
This is a sexual.
So gross.
Yeah.
And she bites his. Oh God! I'm watching it now, and it's actually revolting.
I mean, she sold the shit out of it.
She looked like she was kind of into it. She at first she was kind of repulsed, and then when she got that tongue on there, she's just like, she's forever knighting it. And he throws the cane out the fucking window.
Yeah,
and Nick hears that. He's like, "Start counting, Billy."
Yeah,
while this is going on, they're like escaping.
He's coaching Billy on how to escape his cuffs.
He's trying to see how flexible the boy is.
Yeah,
he's like.
That sounds horrible.
Well, there's a scene. Maybe we've passed it, but I swear to God, Rutger gets so close in this kid's face. I thought they were going to kiss.
Yes,
I think
in the camp.
Yeah, it was like, back off, Rutger.
Yes, it was at the camp when he was comforting him when he was crying.
I wouldn't be comforted by like Rutger getting all up in my grill like that.
Well, we talked about it in the Hitcher when he was a murderer, getting in those kids' faces. The kids were like, "You're the best stranger we've ever picked up."
So. They're getting their way out. Like first, the kid, because they got the zip ties behind their back, and then the kid wiggles his way out, and then he doesn't smoke. But what's he got, Griff? A Zippo lighter, because everybody has a Zippo lighter. We've established that. Nobody uses a disposable.
Well, he's got to set up campfires and everything. He's a hobo.
He would fucking use.
How does he gather wood? Does he just bang the wood on like a tree? How does he find a good clearing?
He can like feel around. It's just on the ground.
How does he know the tree canopy
Why
isn't too low?
Why are we talking about how he finds campfire? I want to get through this.
I'm very worried about him setting a forest fire.
No, well, he starts the fire in the back of the van.
As long as it's not in the kid's pants.
Because the kid burns his zip tie out, so now they're free, and now they need a distraction.
Don't worry, Murray. We haven't gone as long as you think we have.
Okay. So and Billy's counting. He's 1, 2, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then they look back. They see the smoke. They got to stop. They got to see what's going on.
He's from Florida. They don't use Mississippi's down there. They use Jacksonville's. Okay. 1 Jacksonville, 2 Jacksonville.
Whatever they do. Hey, when in Florida,
I've been in Florida one too many times as a child, and I happen to know that counting system.
So they start a fire. So the guys had to stop and investigate.
Yes.
And they get out
right on the middle of a bridge, by the way.
Yeah, well,
2-lane bridge.
Your house. If your car is on fire, you got to stop.
Well, they lived in the van too, so you're actually right about that.
Okay, and they
like Gina Petita, they live in the van.
I don't know what that means.
Well, you know that white woman who went missing, Gina Petito.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, you've only been telling me about it all night.
What are you talking about? I've been telling you about how tired I'm hearing people talk about it.
Right.
So they fucking
Tector, Lyle. They get out. They go around to the back. And they look in the back. Well, they're trying to open up the back. Fucking door pops open, very akin to the Hitcher, that last scene when he's getting right up on the back. See, Nelson Riley gets right up on the back, and suddenly the back door flies open and a shotgun shooting him. That's what happens here, except no, it's a fucking blind man and a child running out and smoke flying everywhere. It's an intense scene.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So like Tector gets hit in the head by the door flying open, so he's knocked down. And then them and Annie get in the front seat and they carjack the car.
Yeah, in that one moment, you're like, wait a minute, kid can't drive. And I believe even little, I want to call him little Nicky, little Billy, he screams out like, who's going to drive? And then suddenly Annie gets in the car.
Yeah.
This is a fun scene. Jack, all over these years, still a fun scene?
We're not at the blind driving scene yet.
Oh no, we're not at the blind driving scene. Annie's gonna take the wheel, but still,
I mean, women drivers. That's hilarious.
I really like this scene.
Well, it's that sort of slapstick hijinks moment. Again, it's like the tonality of this movie, leaps around so much. Like, they're going to shoot the kid in the face with the gun, and then the kid throws something from the back of the van and bonks him on the head and knocks him out, and then they all leap in and, scrambling and off they go. Okay, now start counting again because they got to find his cane.
Yeah.
Which is so ridiculous. So they're going to somehow back up and find this one, stick that's blending in all this desert scrub along the side of the road.
100% on that one.
Of course, again, it's clearly a possessed supernatural weapon that he's got some mystic tied to.
Stormbringer.
So, so they could stop, and he just feels that demonic energy radiating from, the sword. He knows where it is. He can't be parted with it. He'll lose his ability to slash people.
Right. And that's where he gets his supernatural powers. It all makes sense now.
Guys, can I remind you, we're jumping ahead like 2 minutes, but Billy is the one who does the counting. Billy does the counting again. Then they get out where Billy ends at 0 and Billy finds the sword.
Right.
So can we say it's a spiritual connection, or can we just give a little tip of the hat to Nick's just sense of awareness, just immediately being like, count now?
Yeah, he's so confident he knew that they were going to escape. He
knew. Well, yeah, of course he knew they were going to escape. He's been in worse things in the jungles of Vietnam. To the point that
he cared more about finding his sword than what's going to happen. I mean, that's pretty confident.
It is very confident, and
of course he like Elric, he's tied to his sword. He's got to get it back, or he'll probably die.
Well, what is he going to do without a sword cane? He can't just get a normal sword off the shelf. It wouldn't be as fully charged with energy and souls and everything.
The best he could do is a mop handle, and then you're just sort of bonking people on the head or poking them in the belly with it. It's nowhere near as effective when they've got 44 Magnums and Desert Eagles.
And then you have the sloshy part of the mop with the dirty mop water just hitting you in the chest.
You don't want to get that on your acid wall.
Thank you, Murray.
So Lyle and Tech, they're like, we need a car.
Yeah.
So they carjack an old lady.
Do we not love their outfits?
The classic redneck outfit. Sleeveless, flannel shirt.
Sleeveless. They were wearing the beautiful Western shirt that they cut the sleeves off of, had the cowboy hats on and everything.
Did they have big belt buckles?
Big old belt buckles. These are men, Murray.
This is Reno.
This is Reno.
How they dress.
Yes.
And they stop a sweet little old lady, and they're like, ma'am, my brother needs to be taken to the hospital. He's got this wound on his head. I'll help you. Get the fuck out.
She tries to offer him a Werther's because we know the healing properties of a Werther. Like aloe vera, as we've mentioned before. You lick a Werther's and stick it to a wound, and it absorbs your pain. Isn't that crazy?
Well, they didn't have time for candy because they kick her out. and they get in the car and they take off. And Granny, she's packed. What did she have,
Yes.
Jack?
IMDb that good.
I just tried, and the best I can do is that there's just some ridiculously long-barreled revolver, and that's one of the things I love about this movie is that we're in that era of 80s action films where, you know, we're out of the practical 70s and early 80s where, like, hoods would just carry, you know, a 2-inch barreled snub-nosed revolver, and if you were really good, you carried a 45. No. Like, everyone's carrying these absurdly large hand cannons and Uzi pistols and the cut-down shotguns. Like,
Yes.
all the hardware just goes to Gonzo Town. And, like, the most impractical shit gets pulled out of, like, every holster and belt. So, of course, this little old lady can't just be pulling out, like, a little 32 pearl-handled revolver. She pulls out this, like, Buntline Special with a 14-inch barrel and just starts emptying it through the back window. You know? And they're just, oh, I love it. It's like that one Stallone mama, you know, stop or my mom will shoot. You know, come to life.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. But this scene especially hit me because, like, I mean, I didn't become politically aware, and you know, till
last year,
late 20. Yeah, last year when I learned about Bernie, and I was just like, oh, this is the savior of the world. But I saw the scene, and of course they get like the windshield, the back window, and the windshield crack and everything. And then Lytle Check looks at his brother, and just like, "Yep, that's why I always vote for gun control." I didn't realize gun control has been something people talked about since the late 80s.
That and abortion are the two fucking issues.
I get abortion, but wow, gun control, I didn't realize people were talking about even back then.
Yeah, people were a little more sensible back then. You'd even have Republicans that were like, maybe we need a little bit of gun
Oh, my
control.
God. I don't know where the Republicans we need a strong Republican Party.
They catch up with our gang. And, of course, Annie pulls a fucking Velma from Scooby-Doo. My glasses!
I loved it.
I can't see
Look,
anything.
I'm a little into Annie. Now she's doing the Scooby-Doo cosplay thing. She's wearing that beautiful outfit. I'm into it.
So, like, you're like, woman who's a little nearsighted, blind man. Woman a little nearsighted, blind man. Put the blind man behind the wheel. I put the kid behind the fucking wheel. Why can't he fucking drive?
Mary, let Jesus take the wheel.
Well, that's what happens because you got a blind guy driving. Now, this is your time to shine, Jack. This is your favorite part. Let's hear it.
Oh, well, the thing is, I can't drive because I can't see well enough to get cleared with a eye test for driving. So this scene and all the like blind guy gets behind the wheel of a car and somehow miraculously doesn't kill 15 people is near and dear to my heart. Because I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know what? If I took off my giant Coke bottle glasses and tried to drive down like a busy city street in Rio, Nevada, I'd do a better job than the blind guy. So yeah, like why? I mean, it's just pure comedy. We're gonna put him in the. Of course, she could drive. Like she'd at least see the blurry shape, like rushing directly at the van, and the kid would be able to say something like, "Oh, that's actually something you don't want to hit. Turn a little to the left." But you know, like sneakers or scent of a woman just takes it to the extreme because I mean he's doing like 90 miles an hour down the road. But yeah, I just love it because it's so, again, we're taking the tone of this movie and just throwing it completely slapstick of all these jokes where he like finally gets them to where they need to go somehow. And he's like, oh, maybe I should test for my license again. It's just like, why are we throwing these little jokes in? But you know, that's the way this movie rolls. Like I wanted him to just like clip some person like trying to walk across the street, and you're like, oh, that's the price you pay. Right. Take these people on. Like, how does no one die? How does no one get injured in this whole thing?
Oh yeah. If
It
I
needs
were
to
to
be a baby carriage full of cans, like in Speed, where he like hits it. And like,
Yeah, where
oh my
was
God,
the
what
fruit
happened? Yeah, where's the fruit stand? Where's the giant pane of glass the two people are carrying across?
yeah, yes, exactly.
It was cool. They were literally in downtown Reno. They were just driving down there. And we get the classic, like Billy, left. No, your other left. And that kind of bullshit.
I loved it. It
And
was such a fun scene.
Lyle Tector following them. Of course, they have to like flip their car.
You gotta flip your car.
They don't do enough car flipping in movies anymore.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Not enough car flipping.
And then they're like, all right, we're scot-free. And then they're like, well, Nick, since he feels like they're in a tunnel, he's just like, when's this tunnel end? She's like, there's no tunnels in Reno. And then I don't know how that correlates to a brick wall, but
Because they were in an alley.
oh, okay.
So he somehow Daredevil sensed the walls being very narrow. How we got in that narrow wall?
I don't know.
Anyways,
Stormbringer.
So
in the nick of time, no pun intended, he stops right like
son of a
inches.
bitch. No, I'm not, because you asked for it.
So I didn't ask for it. I said you could do it. So yeah, so I don't know where I'm at.
It was rhetorical. Yeah, I think he believed you. Just try to throw that in there like that.
So he goes to the casino, Nick.
Yeah, after a close call, a nice little rib about the whole, I'm going to go get my license again.
He drops Billy off at a friend who lives in an RV community.
Yes.
So Annie and Colleen, her yoga friend, Colleen.
She's living the hipster life. She's an Instagram.
She's living the van life.
She's an influencer. She's out living in a school bus. She converted into her. Harold and Maude comes up again because Maude lived in a school bus. She's got all the cool fucking artwork, the big old vagina piece made of wood, and of course, little Billy's getting in there and feeling up the fucking. Oh man, I can't. This is a family film, I think. I can't tell. What is this film rated?
Fun? I don't know.
It's 89. This is your wheelhouse.
I would have guessed PG-13.
You think
It's rated R, actually.
What?
I just looked it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Should have at least some tits in it then. Come on. So I mean, they're in a casino. We could have them walk by some like showgirls or something, but
or a moment where McCready has some ladies in shaking their tits. Maybe he's got his desk, and in the background there's a hot tub with a naked woman in it.
Well, there was a hot tub in this movie, so it was not used. Properly.
It was a hot tub placed in there somehow for us, because we always, whenever we're talking Shokazugi, we talk hot tubs for some reason,
because they pop up in Shokazugi.
So that's a Shokazugi thing.
He probably demanded it.
Sorry, everybody.
There's probably some elaborate like rooftop fight scene, and Show goes, "No, hot tub." And,
if I'm gonna be a jobber, I need a hot tub.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So he's at McCready's casino, like the Horseshoe Crab Casino or something.
God, what a crab cake!
And he's overhearing McCready's walking through, and he's talking with his boy Cobb, and he's like, he's almost done with those drugs, and once we're done, we don't need this fucker this Devereaux fuck anymore. Nick is hearing this, so he's like, "Oh shit, he's here. I gotta rescue him." So then they make a beeline for this elevator.
I like this because Nick is standing right by the elevator where McCready is walking in, just talking very loudly because it's a casino. It's loud. There's lots of chatter. No one's gonna pick up on this except a blind man who's very attuned. So he hears it. But then, and this is where we get some ex-WWF star.
Yep. 80s jobber Tiger Chung Lee is one of the goons in a white suit. They're both wearing white suits.
Beautiful white suits, like pink tie and maybe blue shirt underneath it or whatever. It's very loud, very 80s.
Well, they both have big mullets.
They both have not big. I want to say big.
Well, they didn't have David Allen Coe mullets.
Please talk more about David Allen Coe.
They're more. Well, he's dying in the hospital right now of COVID.
Let's not talk about present day David Allen Coe.
COVID. But this we're getting really inside baseball.
It's so loopy.
No, you're right. They have Seinfeld mullets. They have
sad little stringy mullets. They're not good power mullets.
No,
they're not stone cold mullets. To bring Brian Bosworth back. Wait, was that in the version that we already got rid of? That we talked about Brian Bosworth?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing anymore.
Oh, okay.
We've done 3 versions of this episode, by the way. So
Thank you, Jack. For sticking with us.
So Chung Lee and the other guy, they guard the elevator. It's also got like a passcode thing. So this is not for public. This is the high rollers.
It's a good thing that, like this, the baby geniuses of that movie, Baby Genius, Jack can actually hear the tonal differences in a number pad.
It's do 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 do.
Wait, is that Close Encounters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's usually Funky Town, so it's weird that it was Close Encounters.
Yeah.
But these guys were obviously Spielberg fans.
Yeah, they're movie buffs.
Oh, man.
So I guess he's like, I'm gonna bide my time when in Rome. I might as well just go to the roulette table.
I think maybe Jack can help me out on this. He's trying to cause a ruckus, right?
I mean, that's what it leads to. I don't know if he's necessarily trying to cause a ruckus. I mean, I think it's kind of a coin flip either way. Like, yeah, he's being cocky. He's kind of drawing attention to himself. But I don't know if that was necessarily his plan or if he thought he'd just shake it up a little. Honestly, it's that classic James Bond move of just being like the provocateur. Like, I'm just going to go in there. I'm kind of going to, draw a little attention to myself. Let them kind of like come to me. And kind of go from there. I mean, it's not super obvious because he does the whole cheating thing where
how do you cheat? Wait, I don't know how you cheat with super senses with roulette.
Yeah,
because you place the bet before anything happens.
That's another good question: is how does he become the high roller? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'd almost say that doing like craps would make more sense. That like,
he
could hear like minute differences in how like the dice bounce across the table or something.
Or he could he could pick up loaded dice or something and go, they're cheating or something like that.
Yeah.
But the idea that it's like, how does he win more at roulette doesn't really. And they don't show him like listening to it in a way that would signify that he somehow can tell that there's like minute differences in the wheel, but then he can somehow tell that it's, this little device in the guy's pocket that's causing the wheel to cheat. And, then he like, of course, uses his super katana to like chop the roulette wheel off. Like it's just this like, it's like the sonic screwdriver of Doctor Who. You just use it for anything. Oh, I'm going to open this. I'm going to close that. I'm going to weld this shut. I'm going to use it as a weapon. I'm going to use it as a tool. We could use it as a mirror and shave with it. Like it's just so strange.
I am immediately taken out of this scene because anytime I've been to a casino, I've been up north to like the Native American casinos. I've been down here to like Greek town. I don't really bet at all. But even if you don't bet, there's always somebody throwing their arm around you and be like, do you need to know how roulette works? And they have a system and they tell you the whole system. Nobody does that. And Murray even has a story.
Not at a casino, but my bar. I had the strangest barber. I had him since I was a kid. He retired. My hair never touched my ear when he cut my hair. But I do miss.
Well, he wouldn't be. He would be dead years ago if he left hair on. He was a great barber,
but he was obsessed with two things. One was vitamins. Talking about vitamins, which I don't care about at all. I always say like he was like almost 80 when he retired. He looked great.
He looked great.
Yeah, he did look great.
Steady hand. You got those hands. You never cut your ear.
Well, he uses the clippers, but and fucking craps. Like he was obsessed with craps, like the techniques and all this shit. He actually had. My friend Doug used to go to him too, and Doug was saying how he was going to go to Vegas. He brought in this like mini little crap table, like you could practice on this.
I'm so nervous. Murray is doing more hand gestures than I've ever seen him do, and he's getting so close.
You were the one that spilled the coffee.
But that's the night. Rutger Knight is trying to curse us. It doesn't want us to escape this. It doesn't want us to escape alive. We're in our own horror movie right now, so I'm trying to make sure we get out of this alive.
Anyway, so he creates the diversion because everyone's like, it's rigged. Everyone's getting like grabbing the chips and shit.
Yeah, because he hears the difference in the ball bouncing in the roulette machine, and he feels the pulse of it somehow. He's like matched his heartbeat to how the ball bounces, and he's like, that ain't right. I think he can also feel a flow, like the airflow has been cut off by stringy mullets. So everything has been, there's probably a scent too. They really don't play up scent enough for it.
No, they don't.
Everything is just like
Hearing.
Yeah, everything is just hearing and just
Taste too.
Yeah.
You're not
What's the
tasting
taste?
anything. You're not tasting enough.
I don't know if you want to taste at a casino. Desperation, lingering secondhand smoke.
He was tasting that one lady that was next to him when he was smoking the cigar.
When he was trying to play it up like, Bon, you're right, because it was like a Rube Goldberg of amazing feats, because it was like somebody dropped something behind him and he reached behind his back and caught it before it hit the ground. And it was like, oh my God. He reaches over, stuffs fucking like $5 worth of chips in this chick's bra, and she's like, I'm not going to call the cops because you have rights. Everybody was loving him. That's how all the casino scenes go in the movies, though.
So he remembers the Close Encounters. He's a Spielberg fanatic too, so he does the thing.
Oh, okay. So what you're trying to say is that in this diversion of him knocking over the roulette table, everybody's freaking out, the cowboy included. We haven't even mentioned the cowboy. There's a
Hector
cowboy.
and Lyle
now.
show up too, but
Hector and Lyle are here now
Right.
too. Hector. Yeah. Did you call him Lecter or did I call him Lecter?
You called him Hector.
I called him Hector.
Yeah.
It's Hector.
Well, Hannibal Lecter was there as well. He was also licking a woman. And so they spot our boy Nick too, but Nick does the little fucking Close Encounters thing.
He hits the button, the closed doors button enough times where it closes just in time.
Doesn't he like fuck with the other elevator, like chop the code thing?
Ooh.
That happens, I know, but I don't know.
I think it happens not quite at this moment.
I remember him chopping an elevator, but not until he gets to his destination.
Yeah, because I know the guys, the other like Tiger Chung Lee and Hector and Lyle get into it, the opposite elevator. But he gets in with a waiter who's got like the room service tray.
Yeah.
And he goes up, and then the doors open, and it's fucking Nick pushing that crate.
Of course
and
it is.
We're like, what happened to that guy? And there's some very vigilant guards there that, hey, we're gonna check this out. We don't trust this guy. Let's see what's going on here.
Already Uzi's pulled?
Yes, they have guns out.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I think Hector or Lyle, one of them pushes. Classic move, pushes the basement.
So they get in the elevator with the
Right.
wrestling guards,
Yeah.
with the faint mullets,
Yeah.
and they're so quick to hit buttons because they're in a hurry. And so when the elevator finally starts to move, somebody, I don't remember who it was, goes, we're going to the basement.
Oh, I know what happened. So when so Nick takes care of the two guards, and then he chops the key thing.
But that was when they're already on the way up.
Right.
So we had the fun joke. Then we're upstairs, and the guards are like,
I'm talking about the black guys.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We went down, and now we're coming back
Right.
up. Oh, my God. We got to get this straightened up.
Yeah, there's a lot of elevator logistics that go on, but basically Nick takes out the two guards when they discover he's not really the waiter. Then the other guys just aren't there yet because they went down to the basement. So that's why he has all the time. And then he can hear that elevator coming up. And that's when he pulls out the sword and just slashes the elevator and disables like the button.
I mean,
once again, the sword is capable of any plot device magic you need.
Look,
open a thing, sword. Keep a thing closed, also sword. It does it all.
we are scientists on this podcast. We talk a lot about microwave timing. We talk a lot about elevator repair and function.
Yeah, was there any screwdrivers involved with this?
No, you just need a sword.
Oh.
He has mastered a sword to the point where he can jam it into an elevator socketry. And
socketry?
Socketry.
Circuitry? You mean socket?
The sockets, the open sockets
The
of
socket of the circuit.
The socket of the circuit,
Okay.
and shove the sword in like a screwdriver and imitate the flexibility And so he stops the elevator right when it gets to the floor. So they're just looking right at the ground level. It's eye level with the ground level.
Right.
And they're just seeing this, and they're just like, oh, I'm going to get you.
You blind man. And then he goes into the office of Cobb, the right-hand man of McCready, and he confronts him, and then Cobb ain't having it. He's like, F.O. Errol Flynn.
Who's that?
You know what
Eyebrows guy.
You know what that means? Fuck off. That's how I got our rating, guys, when he said fuck off. And then Nick slices his eyebrows off.
That was good.
And drops the line, I also do circumcisions. And then immediately Cobb's like, I hardly have anything to begin with. Don't fuck with my dick. I'll tell you whatever you want. And then he's looking for Frank. He finally finds out where Frank is from Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
Frank is in the lab. He's got he's Walter Whiting it. He's got the blue fucking meth. It's fucking amazing.
It's the good shit.
He's getting rats high with it.
And of course, he's got the whole coffee beaker system that people apparently are offended by. Apparently, that's the most offensive episode of Breaking Bad is when he made the coffee in the one episode.
Oh, why? Because nothing happened in it, so people get pissed.
Yeah.
Oh.
There wasn't enough drug dealing, so people are like, I can't appreciate an episode about characters and what they're driven by. Coffee's his love language, people. You just got to get it.
So Frank is like, Nick, they haven't seen each other in 20 years. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, we're getting the fuck out of here. And so Frank, he gets like a tackle box and puts all the fucking P2P in it. And then he starts pouring gasoline out.
Oh no, that was an Altoids tin, dog. You gotta know where you put your drugs into. Murray is such a clean boy. He's just such a clean boy.
I don't do P2P. And he starts pouring gas on everything. He's like, let the fucking. But I mean, this isn't just like a separate lab. This is part of a hotel. He's gonna burn a fucking hotel down.
A casino hotel.
Because but then we learned in that flashback to Nam, when they were partying, he was like throwing M80s at people and shit.
What was the M80s?
What?
What was with the M80s?
He's a fucking nut. Frank's a piece of shit. We talked about this. And so he's like a pyro, like fucking fiend. So he's just like, burn it down. And like Nick's like, let's just leave. Well, we don't need to burn it down.
No, we need to
like
burn it
you
down.
can't like all the secrets of this miracle designer drug are gonna be destroyed. Like you can't build that fucking
He's got Walter White
Mr.
syndrome.
Wizard fucking chemistry set he is.
He's got Walter White syndrome. He's high on his own stuff.
He's like, call me Heisenberg. So they escape. He sets fire to this thing, probably kills like thousands of people. There's people stampeding in the casino.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care.
And also, it's a time when you can still smoke in casinos, but it's already full of smoke, so they're not even thinking anything of it.
No, they don't care.
They just.
I'm also going to point out a character flaw moment that he lets the rats burn to death. Like,
yeah, it's pretty shitty.
I don't like that. Like, that needs to be one of those moments, like in the disaster movie where the dog somehow lives. Like you should have seen like the rats scurry through the door just before it shuts. So I could be like, okay, he didn't kill rats, but no, he burns the rats to death. He doesn't even think of grabbing that cage and taking it with him.
You got to think he was ready to inject them with P2P. Like he don't give a fuck.
Guys,
he's just a scumbag, and he should have died by the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm a rat sympathizer. So when I saw rats in this movie, I was immediately like, oh shit, no, don't tell me they're pulling bad science on these rats. He might have, but I did notice that cage door was open. Rats are very fucking smart. Those rats escaped, I assure you.
Okay. Well,
okay.
I got a mouse in my fucking house who's taken fucking bait off the trap 1,000,000 times. So you're right.
They're incredibly clever, these rodents. And rats, they're at the top. If only they didn't live for 3 years, I'd recommend everybody get rats. But having dogs are sad enough. Having rats that die every 3 years on you, far sadder.
So they go back to Colleen's place at the RV place.
Yeah. They go back to the school bus.
And she's still there watching some yoga show or some exercise show.
This woman is so into her transcendental meditation that she is constantly completely zoned out. So they walk in and she doesn't even have TV on. It's just like fuzz. And they're like, my God, she is in another world. She's probably in the in the netherworld or something, just completely out of her body experience. And so they're slowly creeping up on her. And finally, Rutger's like, is there something wrong?
Well, he's like,
Khalid?
where's Billy at?
Yeah.
And then,
That we should be hearing that snot noise like from outside. Why aren't we hearing that? And then he pushes on Colleen and she just falls right over. What was going on? Because I feel like he pulled a cigar out of her head.
yeah, it was weird. She got shot in the head, but yeah, I didn't know what was going on.
What-
Do you have any idea, Jack, what's going on with this?
I'm actually looking at it like frame by frame right now, and it
Enhanced.
yeah, enhanced. Yeah, he touches her head and she falls over, and it kind of looks like she's shot in the head, but it's right front and center, and it's clearly not like a gunshot wound. And then he finds a cigar. It almost makes it look like Slag like burned her temple with a cigar, because there's not like a big gross like gunshot wound hole. It's more like the flesh has been seared and crisped around. Again, total shift. Like we're going from slapstick like elevator joke comedy
Yeah.
to some poor dead innocent woman with what looks like a horrifying bloody cigar burn on her temple, and lifeless eyes staring up accusingly at Nick. And it's like you get whiplash from it. Like, what's happening in this movie? Severed arms and then like rock candy jokes, like just
So the
back
phone
and forth
rings.
tennis serves. Yeah.
Phone rings, and it's McCready. And he's like, you know where Winter Haven is? Come here. I have your boy and the girl. And Winter Haven is a ski resort. Of course, Nick
I
knows.
believe
it.
it's a kingdom in Game of Thrones, though. That's where this comes from.
And many people have said that George R. R. Martin was inspired by Blind Fury.
Who wouldn't be?
Yes. So they go to this ski resort. They get in the gondola. They're going up there. Meanwhile, they're preparing. Frank's like, I got all these bombs. I can't wait to use them. He's like, it was fucking MacGyvering all this shit.
You know what I really would have liked if it got a callback? The hot sauce bit. I really would have liked it if there was another hot sauce bit that came back around here somehow. Like maybe him and McCready sit down for a burrito and he loads up his burrito with the hot sauce and it gives him a heart attack and that's how he kills him.
I don't know. But for a moment, Frank finds his humanity and goes, you know what? Remember that thing in Vietnam where I bailed on you?
This is a great time for him to find his humanity too, because he's trying to handle these very delicate bombs. And so he's fumbling because he's nervous because he's finally going to admit his guilt. And so he drops one and you see it on Rutger's face. He's like, holy shit.
Well, he doesn't. How did he see it?
Well, he hears it, Murray.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what it is. The sound of it passing through the air as it lands is so unique to him.
Daredevil.
He
Why are you
immediately
chilling?
knows.
Yeah, like he's just
Keep
gotten
going.
to the point of crankiness. He's almost out of his soda here, and he's just like,
Okay, so he's like, Nick, I'm kind of sorry about what happened. I mean, it really wasn't my fault. I mean, we're both to blame when you
Holy
really
shit.
think about it.
he's pulling a Tracy on him.
Oh, he always Tracy.
Oh my god!
Tune in Sunday to find out what we're talking about. And he's just like, we're both kind of guilty, so it's kind of we're even. And like Nick, being the saint that he is, like, you're right. It's both our fault.
Yeah, Nick brings him in for a hug. He's like, when I left there, I was half a man. And then I realized what was making me half a man was knowing that you were out there feeling guilty for my disability. I just want you to know, I forgive you.
He pulled a Leif Garrett. Joe Corey's going to totally get what I'm talking about. Leif Garrett. The Leif Garrett behind the music. Leif Garrett is a fucking drug addicted, like
bank robber?
Teen idol. And he was with a friend, and they got in a car accident, and he caused his friend to be crippled. He was driving high, and his friend got crippled.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where they meet up. Like, of course, he pulls a Tracy and doesn't fucking see his friend who's crippled.
Man, we're calling so much to the tippy tap.
Tracy, you're a piece of shit. I hate you. And so his friend's in a wheelchair now, and they finally meet up after years. Like, and then he's like, "You saved my life, Leif." You know, because I was on, like, because he was on this road of drugs, and now he got cleaned up because he got crippled.
Yeah, it was that life altering.
Right. It was that life altering. So
Murray's back.
So yeah, so he's pulling a Leif Garrett on our boy Nick.
It's so frustrating. I'm sorry to hear you say Leif Garrett because of Leif Garrett.
Yeah.
It's just too close. I hate it. Can't imagine there's a Leif and a Leif Garrett.
Well, he's the same guy. These people pronounce it different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
And so yeah, so he's just like, you know, he's like they're bros again. It's like it never happened.
Yeah.
You know?
But hey, the ski lift is almost to its destination, and they know a trap is waiting for them.
And every hench is waiting. They got all their specialized guns. What's the layout of the guns?
It's actually my favorite scene because they just open up in this fusillade of just ridiculous proportions, and they just pan across. Like Tex Cobb has his, pump action shotgun. Another guy's got a 45. Another guy's got a Cobra 9mm. Some other dude has like another shotgun. Someone else has an Uzi. Then there's like these enormous stainless steel Magnum revolvers. Every gun is more ridiculous than the last, and they're just lined up and they're just blasting away. And of course, everyone shoots their gun dry because naturally that's what you do. And then they all just sort of stand around and pat each other on the back. But it's just so perfect. Half these idiots just have these gigantic hats, and they're huge, trench coats, and their gloves, and they're just blazing away. And it goes on for like a solid 60 seconds. I'm just watching it now, and I'm just dying from it because it's so absurd. And of course, every time a bullet hits the glass, there's like explosions because the squibs are exploding, and no one's even bothering to be like, maybe a bullet hitting glass shouldn't cause a big fireball when it does.
One guy.
I'm sorry, guys. Like this is my jam. This is what I love. I love seeing this stuff. It's so ludicrous. It's that high 1980s gonzo firearm action.
I like that phrasing of it too. The gonzo. See,
this is your showcase episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack,
this
so
is your show.
Lay it all
if
out.
I don't make it here, I'm never going to make it again on G&G. So.
I mean, we already got early numbers in from this episode. Even while we're recording, the BIM marks are off the charts. So
the anticipation.
Me and Murray have been doing we signed to each other during the episode.
Right.
And, we're already planning out a whole resort vacation where we're going to take you out and we're going to just shoot guns at a ski lift.
We're going to Winter Haven.
We're going to Winter Haven. We're taking you to Winter Haven, and we're just going to
lovely Reno, Nevada.
Yeah, we're just going to shoot off all kinds of. We got you a crazy outfit. I'm going to dress as a cowboy. Murray's, of course, going to dress as.
I thought we were going to dress as Tector and Lyle.
We're going to do Tector and Lyle? Okay, I love it.
I already have Nick's shirt, so I just need a fly fishing vest and some medium blue jeans and some bad sneakers. And
Jack, I was hoping you were going to break out the acid wash. You were going to find them somewhere in your closet. You couldn't let them go, but you couldn't wear them.
I can get them on eBay. You can find anything on eBay if you're willing to put your mind to it.
I love eBay.
So yeah, they're like, there's no way these guys survived. More holes than a sheepskin condom on this motherfucker. And no, because there's a trap door in the bottom of this gondola.
Yeah, they finally send somebody in to look at it, and there's just this tiny little trap door, and it's open. And oh my god, trap door. Can you sing that song for me?
I don't know what that song is.
Yeah, I love that song.
So they're in a hallway with a bunch of boxes lined up so they can hide behind them.
Oh yeah, you gotta have cover.
So many crates and all.
You know what this took me back to? The hallway to the scene where I was getting very confused, and you're like, you gotta remember this scene better of Street Fighter. Where he fucking like stomps the woman out and then it gets closed. Yeah, like we couldn't figure out that scene. We are in such trouble. Anyways, we're running through this hallway. We're hiding behind boxes, everything. Lyle and Tech are somehow the first people to get into like this underground hallway, and they're running down, and of course Frank is just oblivious to the world, so it's Nick who has to tell him, get behind cover now. And sure enough, Lyle and Hector turn a corner, they start shooting at them, they miss of course, and then they're trying to hide for a second, but I believe we just jumped to Nick has somehow like a cat has gone from one corner and teleported to the other without them noticing, and they turn the corner to fire off more rounds at him, and they turn right into Nick's blade, and it cuts out right in between his mouth.
Nick puts the blade right in Hector's mouth. I'm like, only way I can rationalize this is he has the back end of the blade against his mouth, because we just saw earlier Hector's fucking thumb barely touched it and it got sliced. He has it jammed in his mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it right now, and it is the edge of the blade up against the corners of his lips. So clearly, and it shows like a little tiny bit of blood just sort of spotting at the corners of his lips, but you're right. Like, the guy's wiggling around. He's nodding his head. Like, he'd be halfway to his ears by now.
Yeah.
This razor-sharp katana, they could cut a guy's eyebrows off with just one whisk of the blade. Like, how is it not just slice this guy's cheeks to the bone?
And this is a really weird game of chicken too. So I mean, you're looking at it. Tell us more about how this game of chicken plays out.
Well, he's like starts flipping his brother back and forth to sort of like taunt him into firing, and he just does. He shoots his brother in the chest, and it's just that like the sad, soulful, like, oh my god, I can't believe you shot me. You shot me.
Yeah.
And then he throws him to the side because now his protection has got a bullet in him, and he's just got these tiny little like flecks of blood like in the corner of his lips, as if it wouldn't be cut all the way back to the molars. Like,
didn't the brother shoot his brother as well?
Yeah, then he shoots the other guy right in the head. So they just kill each other out of spite.
I kind of love the arc of Lyle and Hector. It's so weird, but I've never seen it before, and it's that perfect little garnish to a movie. I just love it.
Well, you love it. Frank loathes it because he does what he does best. He hightails it out of there. Just runs.
Yeah.
So Nick,
conscientious objector.
So Nick stumbles into a disco. And the lights are out.
Yeah, because in this hallway now, behind him, the rest of the cavalry has arrived. They're shooting at him down the hallway, so Nick has to bail, and immediately he can't go running after. Actually, I think he does run after Frank. Does he not? Anyways, it doesn't matter. He's getting shot at, so he has to flee into the next open area. He can't. He's getting thrown off his game. I mean, he can't see already. So he has to plunge into the nearest room, and it just happens to be a music hall. And everything happens to be plugged in and turned on to 11.
Right. Everything's tuned perfectly. And he gets surrounded. They're like, we got him now. All the goons surround him.
Yeah, because he's tripping over instruments, and again, they're all plugged in. So, and you just hear reverberating. It's picking up on every mic, and he's knocking mics over. They give feedback. So he's completely disoriented. Right. This probably happens to Daredevil all the time.
Right. And they're just like, ha, ha, ha. They're laughing. And then we see...
You know what it reminds me of, Murray?
What?
Let's go on a little journey here. The Incredible Hulk episode.
Yeah, but nobody's on acid, though.
Oh, shit, that's right. Yeah. No one's on acid.
But then we see cut away. We see a hand right on this big lever. It says power on, power off. And he pulls it off.
No, it was two giant nodes and a fucking hand reaches over and rips one out. It wasn't even a lever. It was like fucking battery packs he rips out.
And then the lights go out in Georgia. And
if this were an anime, it would be black, and then all you would see is a bright white smile.
And then, like, the gleam of the sword blade as he unsheathes.
Yes. You would see just, like, sword slashes, and you would hear horrible noises, and then...
And then Nick goes to town. He's just slashing and
We gotta do
gashing and
Ninja Scroll.
bashing. And he's just fucking, he kills Cobb, he kills Tiger Chung Lee, he kills everybody but Slag, because Slag is up with McCready.
And you've talked about Frank and his masochism. He's in the background. He's standing behind the bar. He's just throwing M80s into the mix. He's just...
It's more sadism than masochism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know my evil isms.
Oh my God, Don, just avoid the conversation entirely.
Okay.
Back out of there. Otherwise, someone will comment.
Oh, okay.
You'll get kink shamed. Okay, you don't want that.
Wait, kink shamed? That's the crowd that'll come after me?
You never know. The kink shamers.
Wait, masochism is the one where you're in the sexual.
Masochism is when you like pain.
Okay.
Sadism is when you like inflicting pain.
Oh, okay. Hey, masochist. Sorry.
Oh, you're supposed to inflict pain on them.
Oh, hey, masochist. Fuck you.
There you go. They're just jizzing as they speak.
Cliff, not a goblin at all, with a heart of gold telling you to fuck yourself. Yeah, you're right.
So he's just slicing and dicing. Cut to McCready in his office. He's got the drug dealers there. They got the Miami Vice suits on, so we know they're drug dealers.
They got nice little mullets. They're fuller, but they're just touching the neck.
A little curly in
Yeah.
the back.
Very much like Norma's husband, who is in jail, Domino.
And he's like, McCready's like, don't worry, the shit's coming. It's coming. They're like, we got other business to tend to.
Yeah.
And they just walk out, go to the elevator, and he goes to Slag, take care of that shit.
I was interested to see what was going to happen here, but
Well, we don't. It's left to the imagination. Slag just puts his arm in the elevator, goes in there, and he does what Slag does.
I have to point out, because I'm watching the action scene here, that not only does he at one point put his sword up against the guy's neck and then rotate it 360 degrees all the way around the guy's head, like a neck, basically cutting his throat completely around the spinal column. At another point, he chops his blade up between another guy's legs, waits for the guy to scream in pain, and then rips his sword upward, which they don't show any gore, but clearly is like slicing off the guy's dick, ripping into his lower intestine, and probably disemboweling the guy. So once again, we got these massive tonal shifts from this sort of goofiness of him bumping around the musical instruments and kicking off the feedback and like the lights playing, and then the lights go out and he just goes psycho sick house on all their asses and just eliminates everyone in some of the most brutal ways possible that we've seen so far. And then we're just going to bounce back to some goofy moment, where he's like, tell him to take care of the drug deal.
I mean,
this movie's everywhere.
The whoopee cushion bit that's coming up here, it really just got the wind in my sails again.
So he kills everybody. And then, Frank comes up. He's like, I was just kidding. I knew I had your back, dude.
Yeah.
So he forgives him again because he's a saint.
Oh,
they
yeah.
make their way up to McCready's office. They got the Altoid case. That's kind of small for all the drugs.
Yeah.
One Altoid case.
It was 2 Altoid cases,
two.
but, he only had to present one to him just to show him that he had the stuff. But, we mentioned Slag had run off to chase down the previous drug dealers. So we've got McCready dead to rights. He's all alone, but they just want to get the son and the girl, and they just want to be done with this all.
Right. He can have the drugs.
He can have the designer drugs.
Right.
He just wants his life back. That's more than enough money. That pays off his debt.
Meanwhile, yeah, piece of shit. Like, he only has himself to blame for being in debt. It's not
Right.
like
Again, all this time we've all agreed Frank should suffer. He should pay in blood. Like, he should be gone.
But like Trump, he will never suffer. He just falls his way into success.
Don't bring me into reality. I dove into this movie to remember that things can be fun.
Well, I'm just about to shit on you even more because
shit on me even more.
Everybody, because this is a very heartbreaking scene up here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because he's like,
McCready is very happy because he gets drugs and everything, but he's still a fucking evil mob boss. And so he's like, Wow, boy, I gotta tell you.
Is he Foghorn Leghorn? I'll say.
I gotta tell you, he had a great accent, and I'm doing a great accent now. Boy, blind boy over there, I got a present for you. Boy, come in here.
And he's like, Bruce Lee's brother. And then the doors open. Oh, it just broke my heart. It's
because the gong was offensive, right?
It was kind of offensive. There was a gong. And it's fucking living legend. Golan Globe, the guy, he's on the Mount Rushmore of Golan Globus.
He really is.
Sho fucking Kazugi shows up. The only ninja who can kill another ninja.
Yes.
It's like, and it's just heartbreaking to me because this is like the final act of Sho Kazugi's American action career. This is like, I believe, his last American movie.
Okay.
Because, you know,
think about how it bookend though, because he started a villain and he's ending a villain.
Yeah.
So does that give you any?
No, because I wanted Sho to do so many more movies, and it was just kind of like he started out as a villain, finally became the hero we all knew he could be.
And he was amazing as a hero.
Of course he was.
And it took me a long time. It took me this podcast I'm sorry, Jack, you're going on this trip with us. It took me
I'm along for the ride.
So it took me so long because I saw that John Claude movie where John Claude was the bad guy and Sho was the good guy, Black Eagle. And it broke my heart. And then I saw it as an adult and I was like, oh my God, Sho is amazing. So he won me over, and here we are. And I just got to know, maybe something can bring you back around. Maybe something speaks to you that gives you some relief. Sho's hair is looking good here.
It is looking.
I loved Sho. He got rid of the bowl cut thing that he had going as a 45-year-old man. Hair's off the ears, Murray.
I like that.
So I'm glad we got you back.
Yeah, but it's bittersweet though.
It was
because but he did a great job.
Incredible. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna give this to us. We don't know our action scenes despite 300 plus episodes. Jack, how is this sword fight?
I mean, it drives me crazy because the reality of it is that all he needed to do was get himself at the proper distance, do a little feint so that, Rutger Hauer senses some movement or something, and then just thrust his sword into Rutger Hauer's heart. Like, it's not hard to make a kill here. But then I just have to tell myself is that he got hired to make a production out of it.
Okay.
And so he's playing into the theatrics of the combat.
Okay.
Because that guy says, well, I paid a lot to see this and I want my money's worth or whatever. But the fact that it then, you guys ever watch Highlander, the television show, where all the sword fights have to take place in ludicrous locations, mostly so that there's just props for you to chop up with your sword and for them to blow up when the quickening happens. So instead of just a room where they can fight in, it enters, this hot tub / gym where they're hacking through weightlifting equipment and chopping through beams and support structures. And now they're fighting on the hot tub. Why would you, again, it's almost like a Zorro movie too, where I'm just going to keep going up higher into more precarious locations to have a sword fight with. Why would we do that? Why wouldn't you play it safe? And then of course he gets too cocky. He does the whole trapeze act, which again, why would you swing yourself across? And obviously, the sword guy isn't stupid. He sees the light fall into the water and there's sparks and shit flying up out of it.
So good. There's a canning lamp that falls in the hot tub.
Yeah.
And he thinks to himself, aha, I know what I'm going to do to win this sword fight. I'm going to hang one-handed from this thing.
Why
and swing
above a hot tub?
Over an electrified hot tub and engage in a one-handed sword fight with a blind guy. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And of course, he pays for it with his life. The folly leads him to electrified disaster.
You left out the fact that there's a scene in the fight where Rutger grabs Sho's face.
Whoa. Can we talk about this scene? Is this too risque for today's?
I have a great joke, but it's much too racist to tell. But yeah, he grabs his face and goes, Japanese. Like he feels his eyes. I
was just going to walk right past that, not even going to give it the side eye.
You know what, Jack?
Leave that for us. That's our job.
That's for Goblin Murray over here to go on one of his tiny-hearted Grinch rants about racism. No, that scene was fun. That scene really hit me hard. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
But we also got to point... First of all, the scene would have been so much greater if little Kane Kazugi came out and
I would have liked
Billy in a sword
I would have
fight.
liked that. But you see,
God. Yes.
I think what has happened here is that Kane, because he's a badass, has gone off. He's what, 9? He's already gone off on his own journey. Dad, I'm sorry. I got to go. And of course, Sho was like, son, I already knew you were going to leave me by 12. You're doing it earlier. I'm so impressed. Please don't leave me with your brother, though.
Take your brother with you.
Maybe teach him something. So I would have expected...
Let your brother be your Frank.
So I would have expected the little brother to be here. What's his name?
Shane.
Not even worth remembering his name. I would have liked it if little Shane was here. And little Shane as actually beating the shit out of Billy. So the audience gets to see Billy get his snot-nosed face beat up. Maybe get his hair cut off, maybe his little rat tail cut off, and he's waving it around. And that catches the attention of Sho, who's dancing on the hot tub for some reason.
Why is there a trapeze hanging above the hot tub?
Why? Well, you watched the fucking the Hanzo.
Hanzo the Razor?
Hanzo the Razor. Why did he have some weird sexual contraption?
Well, because he could torture people with it. Sexually torture them.
Maybe that's what McCready's into. Maybe it's a sexual thing. Like, hey, have you ever been tortured?
Basket trick?
Yeah, I don't know.
We also left out. There's a nice little gag where fuck up Billy. What's his face?
Oh no,
Nick?
this is right after he has finished off. Sho has finished himself off because you're talking,
I ahead of myself
because Sho has decided the only way I can beat this blind man, even though we're by this bubbling cauldron of a spa with sparks flying everywhere. There's so much ruckus, but he's like, the only way I can defeat this man is by using a trapeze act. And
the Cirque du Soleil of like the death,
What he doesn't remember about himself is that Sho Kazooie is like 6'2", 250. He's a fucking bulking man. Bulking man, that's not a thing.
No, it's not.
Okay. And so of course it fucking falls on him and he plunges to his death. But imminent danger's not out of the way.
No, we still got one more hench left.
You think we're going to have that loving moment where the fucking, an elephant little clay statue comes back out?
Triceratops.
Billy, Nick, I want to give this to you. No, we don't get that moment yet because Slag turns the corner. And he's got that fucking gnarly, starburst cut across that looked like Ronnie Garvin when he got the fireball to his eye. It just looked like someone smeared some jam across. He had some good bandages.
Did he?
No.
Yeah, he wasn't fucked up. He just got done killing the drug lord.
Yeah.
So he's ready to fuck with Nick.
Yeah.
And he's got the shotgun. He's using the sword.
He's going full Chance Bordeaux on this thing. He turns corner, pigeons come flying out. Cocks the shotgun, mullet flapping in the wind.
Somehow Nick lost his sword.
Well, yeah. He's a blind man.
So Billy grabs it and goes, Nick, throws it. I don't blame Nick. I blame Billy.
Oh, yeah. He tossed it poorly.
Yeah,
and also he's shrieking the time because we know he does use Daredevil echolocation senses. Nice. So all the shrieking fucked up the sound of the sword cutting the wind.
Because he got a little of that hot tub water on his acid wash and they're running, And he throws it and Nick misses the fucking sword. And we're like a little gag there. We're like, oh shit, he's gonna die.
Jack, you still in on this gag?
What do you think? What actually happens? Because I'm watching this while you two are going on. I'm just watching the action moment on my laptop.
What we're going on
while you're pontificating about it. Yeah,
By
Tech Cop
Syndicate.
comes in with his giant fucking Desert Eagle, again, this absurdly impractical handgun, shoots Nick in the arm, which, dead to rights, that thing should have just taken off about a baseball's worth of meat when it hits him. Instead, it's like he kind of bumped his elbow against something. He just is like, I just hurt my arm. And he drops, no, actually, he doesn't drop his sword there. He then, like, throws his Zatoichi sword. It impales Slag to the wall. But then Slag, because he's indestructible, you can't kill him, just grabs the blade of the sword and rips it out of his own guts and drops it. And then he goes crawling for his Desert Eagle Magnum. And that's when little Billy runs over, grabs it, and is like, Nick, catch. And he throws it at him, but he throws like an idiot and drops it in the electrified, hot tub. So Nick goes feeling around. He's like, I need another cutting instrument here. And he finds the assassin's katana. And that's when he grabs that and he comes up and he just slashes Slag so bad he pulls a Darth Maul on him and cuts him in half at the waist. And he falls out the window and plunges approximately 4.5 miles to the ground below.
4.5 miles. God damn.
I mean, they're up pretty high.
Wilted vest ain't going to protect him for that.
What you don't know is that Winter Haven is actually on top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Ooh.
They had to travel quite a ways to get there.
I like it.
So, yeah. So, did they just leave McCready to, like, let him live?
Terry O'Quinn, like, fights him for the shotgun, but it doesn't look like anything actually... Clicking back.
Yeah, if you're going to kill everybody, kill everybody. You don't leave any bodies behind.
You think you would like dunk them in the hot tub or make them snort all the P2P, eject it at them like they do to the heroes?
Yeah.
Leave them with no chocolate bars or orange juice?
That's when you let Frank in charge of something. He's always half-asses everything. So.
Yeah. Well, Frank is such a masochist that he's probably into like chucking like chemical bombs at him.
He's a sadist.
Oh, he's a sadist.
Yeah.
I always pronounce that word sadist.
That's sad that you pronounce it that way.
It is sad that I pronounce it that way.
So
yeah, Frank just wrestles the shotgun from McCready, and like that's the end of it. Like, the heck? Where's the closure there?
This
is a giant plot hole. Like, what happens to McCready?
No, it's
not
a giant plot hole. We were just talking about it a minute ago. The most obvious criminals always get away. Donald Trumps always get away. He is the Donald Trump of the story. He's just going to get away. Some of the underlings by him clearly paid with their life. Sho Kazuki got pulled into it. He's paying with his life.
Bad guys always win.
The bad guys always win.
But not in this movie because
we're
ready to wrap it up.
Hey, guys, guess what? We're 5 hours into this episode. We're finally getting to the last scene.
And you enjoyed every minute of it.
Yep.
You loved it. This is our number one episode of the month.
Let's take them on one last side trip.
What's that?
Smoothies. How do you feel about smoothies, Murray?
I don't think I've ever had a smoothie.
You've never had a smoothie? What kind of berry would you put in your smoothie?
Guava?
Guava. Interesting.
I don't know.
Jack, smoothie?
I'm all about the Jamba juices.
Jamba juice, man.
Yeah. I like the sort of like the peanut butter chocolate banana style kind of protein smoothies. Like that's my jam. I'm good with those.
Right. How we feel about kiwi? Rind on or rind off?
Oh, rind off. Come on,
Rind
please.
off, yeah.
I don't truck with any kind of Velcro skinned fruit. Okay, just
oh boy. Well, me and Joe Coleman have something to say about that.
Oh, okay. All right. After that tangent, we're finishing up this story. They're getting on a bus going to Miami, I guess, to bury mom because they just left mom's dead body there. Mom's body's probably still in that house rotting for the past week.
I mean, the cops have arrived. They've been checking out the crime scene.
They don't do anything.
Well, yeah. You know what?
They're probably
Murray.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Here's what I think happened. They took the dead body of Marie Faye up to Toronto.
Marie Faye. What?
What's her name? Lynn Faye.
Meg Foster.
Lynn
Manuel Miranda.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. They took her up to Toronto, and they just found a park, and they put about 1 inch of soil on her, and then they said,
Carouche?
"Hey, that's good."
Oh my god, that makes so much sense. It'll make so much sense to you Sunday after you listen to our Tippy Tap on Forever Night.
Oh my god.
Jack can't wait for Sunday to go. He's like, I'm gonna so much of this shit's gonna make sense.
I need this inside baseball information, and I need it now.
We have never done such a good job of teasing an episode than this.
Well, so they're getting on a bus, go to Miami. We're gonna say they're going to Miami, and
it was San Francisco.
Yeah, it said San Francisco, but why would we be going to San Francisco from Reno? None of this makes any sense.
So they're not even going to bury this kid's poor mom. Like, no. Frank, you fucking piece. Frank already has a side piece, Annie, with him now. He's forgot. He's never even remembered the fucking ex-wife.
They had a mutual breakup.
Okay, so that means don't give my son closure. Like give a funeral.
No, he's got a cool
bury her in Toronto.
He's got a cool new stepmom.
Got the hot stepmom. There's a lot of porn about that.
Well, she was a nerd. Former mom was more.
And so his dad bought him new acid washes. He's got the fucking Garth Brooks shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Giant white Reeboks. He is set. And Nick's in line with him.
I really like that a characterization of him and his Garth Brooks because, Billy really does have friends in low places.
He's got a dad in low places too. And so he gets on the bus. I guess they see blind people last.
For some reason, this is the most weird part. Like, this is the part of this movie that really creeps me out. They're in line for the same bus, and yet they're 5 people apart, so they can't be like talking and being together. Neither of you bothered by this?
Well, it just shows how disrespectful Frank is to Nick.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Frank is once again just a big piece of shit.
Okay.
Oh.
And he doesn't get his comeuppance.
McCready and Jack.
We just said bad guys always win.
Yeah, and Frank is total bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
he probably bails on Billy as soon as he gets to Frisco. He's like, yeah, find your own life, kid. Figure it out.
Gets to Frisco, he probably tells Billy to go to the bathroom at like one of these bus stops and then just make sure the bus takes off.
Oh my God.
Just sort of drops him off like a puppy or something. And
I mean,
you're cramping my style, kid.
I gotta tell you, I think I remember seeing little Billy in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think he's one of the kids who turns to the Foot Clan. When they lure the kids in with cigarettes and arcade games, I think Billy was in there.
His story goes dark from this point onward.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course, is West Side, and RoboCop 2 is East Side. Because that was the thing back in the 80s, as far as I understand, is all these gangs who would lure teenagers and young kids.
Okay.
So, Nick is standing several.
He's holding the bus ticket in his hand, and he just drops it and just walks away. And then little Billy sees that. He's like, Uncle Nick. We forgot to point out there is a nice scene because he starts calling him Uncle Nick. Yeah. And then Rutger's like, oh, I'm your uncle now. Fuck you, kid. But yes, he's like, Uncle Nick. And he's running, searching. I hate you for leaving me. Who's going to iron my fucking ash and wash jeans now? And it's just like, he's looking. He's on a bridge. Nick is under the bridge.
Well, okay, so they're across the street, or they're on the same side of the street. Oh, he's caressing him, and then he's like, look, this is how it's going to be. I got to go now.
Right.
Rutger crosses the street, a bus goes by, and suddenly he is gone.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to do that.
No, you're not. You don't have the agility.
I'm going to figure it out.
You don't have the agility.
It'd be one of those scenes where you back up into the street and get hit by the bus, and it's horrifying. And
yes.
So
that's what's going to happen.
It is.
The disappearing happens on a bridge. So he looks. He's like, "Where are you? I hate you. Fuck you." And then we see under the bridge. What's the buttholes doing, Griff? Are there any warming up buttholes?
They were blurred out, but yeah, you could definitely see.
That's why I got the R rating.
Well, they actually, what they did instead of blurring it is they just put some bushes there and had him shaking.
Yeah. And we see Nick, and then we just see one single tear fall down. His things that in his head that make tears are working now.
I didn't even put that connection, but did you even point out that Bill is on top of the bridge?
He drops
after his last.
Well, I didn't want to embarrass you one last time because you were going to say he drops like a giraffe.
So Bill is up there. He's holding his beautiful little alligator, and he's just like, "Look, doggy." I love how they did a callback there because, of course, that's what Nick referred to the alligator in the first scene. He says, "Look, little doggy, I can't keep you anymore." And he drops it over the bridge, and there's Nick holding his hand out, and he catches the alligator and he caresses it, and he says, "Good doggy," and he puts it in his pocket. One tear. The tear ducts work again.
They do. All it took was abandoning a child.
So where did you hate this ending?
What?
You hated this ending. You told us that there was something about this ending you hated.
No, it was the Shokazugi shit.
Oh, just Shokazugi.
No, this was a beautiful ending.
Oh boy, Jack, this scene warm your 16-year-old heart.
It does not. It didn't warm my heart back then, and it certainly doesn't warm it now.
Oh, okay.
Tough crowd.
Tough
Yeah,
crowd.
I'm cold. I'm cold that way. And
You're
then
really-
the bus shows up, and the kid jumps in. Oh, Dad! Like, no, Dad's a piece of shit, kid.
Yeah.
I totally think Dad hops out with his sleeves of his sports jacket pushed back, which I don't know. Maybe I'll catch flack for this, but I think it's a terrible look. I can't believe it existed back then.
Yeah,
I hope that look never comes back.
Murray's
I
fixing.
I do like his
suit
watch
right now.
though.
I always wear blazers.
And yeah, now Nick's crying. Oh, it's so sad. I have tears again. It's like, you know what? You should be crying because that kid's probably gonna lead to a life of crime and
Yeah.
gang
Probably
violence.
turned out by some pimp and be a child prostitute.
I think
you
this
know?
movie was trying to teach us a valuable lesson in that sometimes our fathers aren't always the best father figures.
No, that's how I learned.
But then it's also like, is it Nick's responsibility?
This really should have been a story about found family.
Yeah.
Dad should have died,
Yes.
and the kid should have continued on with Nick. Like,
Holy shit. That would have
And then
wrapped
went back to Miami with a live mom.
that
They had a family.
Yeah.
would have wrapped around to
well, if
Roll-
you went for the storyline where the kid dies and the mom lives, but if you're going to stick with the kid living, which again I'm against, then the kid sticks with Nick, and
Yeah.
Dad dies killing Devereaux because they're wrestling for the shotgun, go off, fatally wounds Frank, but Frank is able to like do something to kill Devereaux because Devereaux's about to kill,
You know what it is?
kid.
Frank has all his bombs strapped to his body, and he sacrificed himself. He blows up Winter Haven.
Oh,
That-
like that.
Oh.
There you go. That could have worked. A little suicide vest action. It's like, no, I'm taking you with me. Boom.
All right.
I like that. Where are we
I think
going
that would have
with
been a
this?
more satisfied
We're-
ending.
We're ending it.
How do we end this?
Well,
This is it. This is like a beautiful relationship that has just ended and it's mutual. But how do you move on from Rutger Month?
it's going to be tough.
Murray, I don't know.
I think most people will just rest on their laurels and quit. They would be like, we came, we saw, we conquered. We don't need to
Do
do
we need
anymore.
to take time to go to some defecation tanks and like really explore the inner beings of our
Whoa.
brains?
If you were a mere mortal, I would say, yeah, but we're not. We're superhuman. And we trek on because we're going even better. Because
Better?
If you know golan-globus Theater, you know every October is Schlocktober for us.
I've heard of that.
And you're going to enjoy. 'Cause we're going to start earlier. Usually we just wait till our Wednesdays. That's when we do it. But we're going to start on Sunday. I don't know what day that is. I think it's the 3rd or 4th.
If I had a calendar right in my hand right now, what I would do, I clicked the wrong button. This is not going well.
It's Sunday.
It is the 3rd.
Sunday the 3rd. We're starting Schlocktober. We've talked about it 5,000 times in this episode. It's the 90s vampire detective show, Forever Night. You think vampires are scary. How about seeing eye dog vampires?
Excuse me, eye dog?
Seeing Eye Dog. Yeah.
Oh, seeing eye dog. Okay.
So check that out. And I want to take a moment, all kidding aside, I want to thank everybody that participated in Rutger Hauer Month. You were all fucking awesome. You all brought something unique to your episode.
Oh my God.
We appreciate you taking the time out to do this with us.
And of course, just all the struggles we've gone through.
It's going to really kill me having
had.
to kill one of you, but there's rules. We got to do that.
Murray definitely. I love you guys all a lot more than Murray. Murray's got a tiny little heart. And his little tiny heart, it's also got a little acid
it craves
compartment
blood.
to it. It craves blood.
But hey, we're also going to let whoever gets to number one pick their own movie for a future episode.
That's true. So that counters out. And also the
balances.
person you threw in the acid vault, you made them a nice little pin to melt with.
Yeah.
So that you can put it on their chest.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you to you guys. And I just want to pat us on the back. Like, we're amazing, like scouts for talent. No, we're amazing scouts for talent. We've never had a shitty guest. All our guests are fucking amazing.
It really is.
I mean, I'm kind of worried. We're like kind of jinxing ourselves. Like maybe we're going to get some really bad in the future. But so far, so good.
No.
I mean, everybody's been great. And we love you all. We really do. And we appreciate you doing it.
Everyone has come on here, and they've been very natural, and they've had a very fun conversation with us. And it often goes long, and it often
But because
is a
it's
lot
so
of
damn
fun.
good.
It's incredible. As much as I am afraid of social media world, we have found some incredible people, and
Right.
it warms my gigantic heart to your tiny little Grinch heart.
Well, yeah, it keeps my heart pumping. So with that, we will end this episode, and we will see you this October on the 3rd, and keep it warm.
Well, let's let Jack throw out to keep it warm.
Jack, do you want to give out a keep it warm?
Keep it warm.
Perfect.